adrenaline addiction, metal chorus blare, ain't no friction, drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger, slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night, lap after lap, the fire in our veins, run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades, oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment, every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior, victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur, burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night, lap after lap, the fire in our veins, run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night, lap after lap, the fire in our veins, run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening with the Racers Elite. The Racers Elite group out there on the racetrack. These drivers laying down their qualifying times, getting ready for a long race and a fun race. Here this morning, as the action is about to get started, the drivers are about to go to battle here for 267 laps of racing action around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Robbie Tester coming in, showing the love, says early morning race. Yes, please, he says. Yes, please. Yes, Stursky. Bionic Man coming in, showing the love as well over there on YouTube as these drivers get ready to go to battle. We got the suit on, we're all dressed up, we're ready to duke it out, we're ready to put on some absolutely amazing racing here all evening long. It's going to be a long day up here in the broadcast booth. We're going to be doing not one, not two, but 3 races here this evening. 3 races here this afternoon. Is Papa Mike, Michael Dickinson coming in with that heart reaction over there on Facebook, showing the love early in the morning here in this one. And it's Joshua Neal coming in as well with that like and the share. There is some money on the line here this evening. I do believe there was about $850, something like that, I think was up for grabs for, I'm not sure if it was for the race winner or if it was for anything else. Let's see if we can see some of these prize pools here, as I know there was definitely quite a bit of money, some awesome stuff on the line here for these drivers. Now, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, what the potential is for the payout here for the race this afternoon, but nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see some great racing, some great action, and it's going to be awesome to see these drivers putting in the work here this evening as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to go to battle here. 267 laps, full-length NASCAR race here this evening. These drivers, they have 9 sets of tires down there on pit wall, and they only have one quick repair. So in a 267-lap race, you got to be very, very careful. You got to make sure you keep your car under control, keep yourself out of trouble. You don't want to run into early issues, having to use up that quick repair early on in the race, run into more problems throughout the middle, and your night could be over in a quick quick hurry here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But it's hot, it's slick, it's going to be a lot of fun here for the Racers Elite. Now, they did have a name for this one. They had a little bit of a logo there. I'm not sure what it was officially called, but it was the Pennzoil 400, I do believe. The Pennzoil 400 here this afternoon for these drivers. So, should be a lot of fun. Should be some great racing action. We're going to see a lot of back and forth, a lot of great drivers duking it out here this evening. If I look through the list here, we're looking at, I want to say 35 drivers, something like that are loaded in and ready to try to go for the win here this evening. Or at least there was supposed to be 35. Looks like we've only got about 24 that have loaded in. You do see Brandon Sanfilippo. He's out there on the racetrack. Andrew Taft out there in that 98 ride, the McDonald's machine, the Racers Elite ride, ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out here this evening. As chat, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a great race. We're going to see some great battling lap after lap after lap, and this is going to be a pretty exciting one. This is going to be pretty exciting, not only just to see, really what these cars will do on an extreme long run out there on the speedway and how they're going to handle here, compared to the sim, compared to the real life thing, as we're going to see the real-life NASCAR drivers here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in just a couple more hours. I do believe they're going to get kicked off around 3:30 Eastern time, so in about 4.5 hours or so, we'll be seeing, this race already come to a close at that point, but then we'll be seeing the real-life NASCAR drivers like Kyle Larson, Danny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski. All those cats are going to be loading into their real-life race cars and running here at this exact same racetrack. So same cars, same track, just from the simulator to real-life racing, and we're going to be able to really see and judge on what the track and what the driving styles are really like, and see where some of the fuel mileage kind of adds up, where the tire wear kind of looks the same, and everything else here between the two of these races here this afternoon, between this race and our real life NASCAR event. As Brandon Honeycutt, he's out there on the racetrack in that Pals number 13 ride. He's going to take it back down pit side, as Honeycutt currently sits in the 13th position in that 13 car. Andrew Dent with a great lap time, he jumps up into position number 7. But right now, it's Austin Smith. Now, there's a couple of these drivers that we're going to see in our second broadcast here. They're going to be in this race, and they're going to be in our next race as well. So they got their work cut out for them as well, man. They're going to be turning a lot of laps here this evening, as Austin Smith will see in action, potentially Brandon Puffinbarger, Corey Crowell, a bunch of these cats we're going to see in our second race here this afternoon as well. So it's going to be awesome to see how they're going to be able to, keep calm, keep cool, collective, and see if they can, take a good run here in this race and put it into our next race with the Outcast Racing League at 4 o'clock Eastern time. So, going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of great racing, and we're going to get ready to set these drivers loose. Qualifying quickly coming to a close, and that means our main feature event, our 267 lap race, is about to get underway. If you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as Joshua Neal says, let's go Midwest Motorsports. Number 5, number 23, the number 20, and the 82. Well, right now the 23 looks like he's starting on the pole position. The 5 ride of Puffinbarger starting there in third. Corey Crowell starting in position number 5. And we'll take a look down here a little bit. We do see Joshua Neal going to be rounding out that Midwest Motorsports team back in the 15th position. As here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400 here this afternoon, it is the Racers Elite single race event. Some money racing here this afternoon, powered by all of our amazing sponsors here on the Racers Elite channel, as we get these drivers loaded into the sim, each and every one of them looking for the win, as we will get them ready to rumble, ready to roll out there on the racetrack. A lot of laps, a lot of time to make mistakes or rebound from those mistakes and try to work yourself back into the action here this evening. As there you go, 267 laps, and we'll be led down to the green flag by that 23 of Austin Smith. as Smith starting in the pole position here this afternoon in the Red Bull 23 ride. He will have the 94 ride, the Wild Cherry Pepsi ride. That is Christopher Pendel. Pendel will start in second with Brandon Buffenbarger back there in position number 3. John Ross, good to see John Ross out there on the racetrack. He will be rolling out in position number 4. Good to see good old Johnny back out there on the racetrack is Corey Crowell going to round out our top 5. To his outside, supposed to be the 9 ride of Dale Procop Valaquette. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Procop Valaquette back there in position number 6. Starting in position number 7, that is Troy Thomas to his outside. In the number 98 ride, that is Andrew Teft. Starting in position number 9 in the 57 ride, that is Aaron Roth to his outside. In the 55 in the Wrangler machine, that is Truth Hoke. Starting in position number 11 in that 19 ride, that is Cody Bonelli, hopefully I'm saying that right, Bonelli, there in that 11th position. He'll have the 25 ride, the Wind Creek Event Center. Number 25 going to start there in that 12th position. Brandon Sanfilippo will start in position number 13. To his outside will be, let's take a look back here. We're going to actually see a couple of these drivers sitting back a little bit. There's that number 13, right? Brandon Honeycutt, who will start there in the 14th position. Starting in the 15th spot, it is Joshua Neal in the Midwest Motorsports, number 82. To his outside will be the 31 ride, the Monster Energy machine of Matt Metler. Starting in position number 17 in that 10 ride, the Racers Elite Camry, that is Kirby Wainscott. To his outside in the number 60 is Lee Campbell. Campbell in another Monster Energy paint scheme out there on the Speedway. Then we see Curtis Ecker there in that beautiful number 8 ride, the Coca-Cola Jack Daniels ride, back there in 19th. To his outside in the 43, that is Alex Teft. Starting in 21st in the number 03 ride, that is Justin Rachter. Then we see J.D. Larson, Cole Larson, Richard Ode, and Terry Fennell bringing up the rear of the field in that bucked up number 50 ride, back there in the 25th position. 25 drivers, 267 laps of racing action here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. Quickly right out of the gate, a great launch and a great start there out of the 23 ride of Austin Smith, is unfortunately John Ross looked like he may have missed a shift there, getting up the speed down the front straightaway. Unfortunately loses a couple spots quickly here on the racetrack, really making things interesting there on that opening lap. Everyone able to scatter and get around that complete graphics number 44 ride. He'll keep up that speed, and now looking back down low underneath that 3 ride is the Good Wrench Service Plus ride, the 3 machine, the Dale Earnhardt inspired machine of Troy Thomas, trying to hold on to that 5th position, but John Ross able to get it back. It's out in front, leading our first lap of the day is this 23 of Austin Smith. Smith leads the first lap here this evening as Christopher Pendel up into that 2nd spot. He's able to work himself back around the Mobil 1 number 20 ride of Corey Crowell. Crowell does slide back to 3rd here, but still up a couple spots early in this race as he's got the 9 ride of Dale PV right there behind him. Dale trying to work himself up into position number 4 as he continues to look for more action. He's in 4th, looking to jump up into 3rd as he sits there in position number 4, looking for more on the racetrack. Then we see John Ross back there in 5th, Troy Thomas there in 6th, Aaron Roth, Cody Bonelli back there in position number 8. Truth Hoke up into 9th as Andrew Teft unfortunately falling back a couple spots there in that Racers Elite McDonald's Mazda Racing number 98 ride. Down 2 spots into that 10th position as already we see one driver quickly working themselves up and through the field here. It is that Mountain Dew, the Code Red ride, that 33 machine of Cole Larson, already up into 13th and looking to try to continue to race his way up to the front of the field. Cole already up 10 spots here. Started back in 23rd, now sits in 13th and trying to find his way around the 13 ride of Brandon Honeycutt for position number 12 as he looks to continue to march his way up to the front of the field. As down low, he's going to make that pass, and he will slide up into that 12th position. So Cole Larson, a man on a mission, racing his way up to the front of the field. As Justin Rachter, he's able to make a few early race passes as well. He's got that 988 machine up and into position number 15, already up 6 spots here himself as he keeps on trying to inch closer and closer to our top 10 out there on the Speedway. Joshua Neal unfortunately sliding back there to 16th, as out in front we do see Dale Prokop Velacquet up into position number 3, able to race his way around Corey Crowell. Crowell falling back there into position number 4. But we got a lot of laps. This is a very long race, so we're going to really see these drivers have to take it easy here. Have to try to protect those tires, have to protect their race cars early on. Everything's looked pretty good, pretty clean and green out there on the Speedway. Not a lot of contact. We haven't really seen anyone get into the outside fence, but as this race continues on, the tires continue to fall off. These cars will get tougher and tougher to roll out there on the Speedway. And right now, we do see a battle at the front of the field as Austin Smith try to hold on to that race lead. The 94 ride of Christopher Pendel looking to try to take that race lead away from him, putting the pressure onto the back bumper of our early race leader and our pole sitter, Austin Smith. As Smith able to hold him off, lead another lap here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Smith looking to just try to be that reflection of perfection here this evening, but trying to keep yourself out in front for 267 laps is no easy feat. Not a whole lot of drivers have been able to keep themselves out for a very extended period of time here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've seen certain drivers be really good in the first stage of a race. We've seen drivers, fall off in that second stage. And when it comes to that final stage, it's kind of a hit or miss. We've seen drivers kind of come out of nowhere, especially late in the race with those late race caution flags. I know we've seen Joey Logano. He's backed his way into a couple of these Las Vegas wins out there on the Speedway with those late race caution flags. Seems like that 22 in a green-white checkered area or a restart inside 10 laps to go. He's all of a sudden right in the mix of it and finds that speed that he needs and is able to hang on to that car and put himself into victory lane. We may see more of that this afternoon from one of these other drivers here this evening, as some continuing to race their way to the front. Truth Hoke now up 5 spots in that Wrangler, number 55, right into that 5th position, and Cole Larson continuing to race his way up to the front in this Chevrolet, as that 33 ride now into the 8th position, up 15 spots early in this race, coming from 23rd all the way to up to 8th, and he's not done yet. He's already looking to the outside of that 44 of John Ross, looking to try to move himself up and into position number 7. This 33 ride has some speed out there on the racetrack. Now he may be burning up his equipment, maybe using this car a little bit too hard early on, and using and abusing those tires early in the race could potentially set him back and push him back later in the run, where drivers are kind of getting a little bit more settled in right now. They may be just trying to save their tires, trying to make sure that their cars are good for the long run here, as we may see a lot of green flag laps here this evening, as we do see that pass for the race lead. Christopher Pendel down the front straightaway, able to take that race lead away in the Pepsi Wild Cherry, number 94, now out in front and leading the way. So he gets that Ford Mustang 94 ride to the front of the field. Austin Smith slides back into second here, and quickly as Dale in that Budweiser number 9 ride right there behind him, trying to hunt him down. Corey Crowell still within striking distance there in 4th, and a bit of a gap back over a second to our 5th place driver, Truth Hoke. And right there behind them, you do see Cole Larson starting to poke his nose towards the top 5 here. A absolutely amazing run early in this race, and for that 33 ride, he doesn't seem to be slowing down a little bit out there on the racetrack. And I do believe right now he does have the quickest lap time out there on the racetrack. The next closest is our race leader, Christopher Pendel. Pendel was able to lay down a 30.91 second lap, but the quickest lap of the race belongs to that 33 with a 30.90 out there on the Speedway. So 1 hundredth of a second quicker, but still quicker nonetheless. And for a driver that's been kind of stuck back here in traffic, has had a lot of dirty air compared to our race leaders like Austin Smith and Christopher Pendell. For the 33 ride to lay down that quick time back here through the traffic and everything else. It just shows how much speed this 33 ride really has, and unfortunately not the starting position that he was hoping for, but doesn't seem like it's going to matter too much to him, as he's now already around that number 19 ride of Cody Bonelli, as Bonelli slides back into position number 7. Cole Larson now up 17 spots into position number 6. Is out in front, looking to try to stretch that race lead out. It's almost 0.6 of a second between himself and Austin Smith. Smith trying to hold on to that second position, as Dale quickly down to his inside, trying to use a little bit of a side draft down the front straightaway. Will drive down to the apron through the center of the tri-oval here at the start finish line, and he's able to pull away, get that run, and make that pass for position number 2. So Austin Smith now back into that third position, but these Midwest Motorsports drivers, they know that they need to kind of take it easy here, trying to not burn up these tires too early. They know it's going to be a potential very long run here where we're going to see these guys. It's 100% fuel, so I'm expecting probably around lap number 50, lap number 60, we're probably going to see these drivers head down pit side for green flag pit stops. And these green flag pit stops could be make or break for drivers. We've seen drivers have issues, have penalties, and unfortunately lose races due to those pit road speeds. And if you get down there a little too quick, or you have a bad stop, or you get caught speeding down on pit road, your night can be over in a quick hurry, especially with no stages, no stage breaks. So no opportunities and no guarantees of a caution flag to come out and give you that free pass. As now you do see that 9 ride up the racetrack here. He's searching for a little bit of grip as the 23 continues to run right down on that white line and able to take that second spot back away from that 9 machine, as Dale slides back into that third spot once again. He's looking to go back after him here. Seems like the 23 may be pretty good down through 1 and 2, and the 9 ride maybe just a little bit better down through 3 and 4, creating this great race back here for second. And they were losing contact with our race leader. That 94 ride of Christopher Pendell was out in front by almost 3/4 of a second, but that gap has shrunk, and it's right back to about half a second now, even less there for a little bit. It was about 0.3 of a second, but now he's trying to pull back away here, trying to gather this 94 ride back up and looking to try to open up that gap once again and pull away from those drivers back there behind them and hope that they continue to battle. As here you go, the 9 ride again down low, looking to make that pass for position number 2. So some great racing here at the front of the field, and as they continue to battle and make these moves back and forth out there on the speedway, it's bringing a couple other drivers right here to their back bumper. There's that 55 of True Folk, the 33 of Cole Larson, who's now 1 spot outside the top 5 here on the speedway, as that number 33 ride started all the way back in 23rd, now up 17 spots early in this race in the Mountain Dew Code Red ride, looking down low, looking for a run down the front straightaway, trying to make that pass around that 55 ride of True Folk to put himself inside the top 5. Gonna keep it down low through corner number 1 and 2, door to door. Now with that 55 ride as the elderly driver 55 of True Folk, trying to show the young gun here, Larson, how to get it done here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But Larson right now, the fastest car out there on the racetrack, and continuing to show that as he does make that pass on the 55 ride. And Cole Larson now inside the top 5. What a run early on for this 33. We'll have to wait and see if that tire fall off may hit him a little earlier here in this run, if that 33 ride starts to slide back, or if somehow or another he's been able to save tire and be super fast out there on the speedway all at the same time. As John Ross right there behind him, as we do see Terry Fennell running into issues. Fennell down pit side here. Tough break for that number 50 ride. He's going to take his car down pit road here. Let's take a look back and see what happens to the bucked up Cotton Candy number 50, Ryan, just looks like he gets loose off corner number 4 here. He's going to go for a ride down through the infield here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And unfortunately for this 50 ride, he's going to be down pit side for an extended period of time. Is right there, just gets loose. The Hot Wheels Racers Elite Camaro loses that rear end. It shoots down into the infield. Now he's going to go for a hop, skip, and a jump. He's going to take that car down pit lane and try to get it stopped here. Does make a little contact with that pit wall. Luckily enough, none of the pit crews were out there on the racetrack as he does take that car down to his pit box. He'll be down there with that tow for an extended period of time, and actually looks like he has now taken that car off of the racetrack and down behind pit wall. So an early tough break for that 50 ride here in this race as we lose our first driver only 24 laps into this 267 lap race. So that's a pretty early exit there for that number 50 machine, man. That's not how you want to start your afternoon. That's not how you want things to kind of go here at the Speedway. And unfortunately, he's gonna lose a lot of here in this one, man. That's a tough break. That's an early exit that no one wants to see, especially with pretty minimal contact. He could have probably, dealt with the penalty he would have gotten for a bad pit road entry, and in speeding down pit road, he probably would have had maybe a pass-through penalty or something right there, and probably would have went a lap or two down, but could have tried to battle through it, could have kept trying to work through that adversity, and unfortunately, going to just take that car down and off the racetrack. A tough break and an early exit there for that 50 machine. So we'll keep on trucking, we'll keep on rolling out here on the Speedway as Austin Smith there in second, trying to hunt down our race leader as we do see, oh no, what's happened here? We have lost our race leader here. Christopher Pendel also going off the racetrack here. The 94 ride running into problems here. Our race leader out in front was sliding backwards in a quick hurry here. So while we were watching that replay, he goes from first all the way back into about that 5th, 6th position on the racetrack. And then the 94 ride off of corner 4. Those tires starting to fade away. Loses that rear end down through the grass here. The same as we saw out of that 50 ride. Now he's trying to keep it pointing the right direction, trying to keep it out of pit lane. Luckily enough, he does keep it from going down pit side, so no penalties for the 94 ride, but then he loses it again, coming down back onto the racetrack, makes some contact there with that turn wall inside fence. Some pretty good left front damage on that Pepsi Cherry 94 ride as he'll get rolling back out onto the Speedway here. No caution flag. A tough break there for him, but he does get that car rolling down the back straightaway, but loses a ton of positions and now finds himself back here in position number 22. Battling here with that 82 ride of Joshua Neal as they're door-to-door out at corner number 2, and for the 94 ride, going from virtually first in a few laps all the way back here to 21st on the Speedway, and now being about 16 seconds back of our race leader, Dale Prokop Veliquet. They're in position number 1. I'm probably murdering that. I'm probably not getting it right at all, but Dale out in front in that Budweiser number 9 ride, leading the way is Prokop Veliquet. Hopefully I'm getting it right. Prokop Veliquet. They're in position number 1. I'm going to get that wrong all day wrong, and I already know it is. Austin Smith trying to hang on to second, and here comes Cole Larson. Larson now into position number 2. Man, oh man, oh man. This 33 ride is a man on a mission here this evening. Cole Larson from starting back in 23rd, now into position number 2, and looking for the race lead down the front straightaway. He looks to the outside of that 9 ride, now down to the inside, trying to find his way up to the front of the field. And in the first 31 laps of this race, that's all it's going to take for this 33 ride to potentially taste the lead here this evening. This kid is jacked up on Mountain Dew Code Red here this afternoon as the 33 ride down low, door to door with our race leader down across the line. Not quite yet able to take that race lead away from him, but he is right there putting the pressure down low to our race leader and looking to take control of this race. race. He's rolling down low, continuing to hit his mark, still door to door with that 9 ride as they come off of corner number 2. A big run for the 9 ride down the back straightaway into corner number 3. He's going to look to try to roll down, maybe block the line a little bit of that 33 ride, maybe dump a little dirty air onto the hood of that car, but he gets a great run for Cole Larson out of corner number 4. In lap number 32, we get a new race leader, and it's the driver who started back in 23rd, who is now up and into the race lead, up 22 positions from where he started. The 33 ride of Cole Larson leading the way. I don't know if that's Cole Larson or Kyle Larson out there on the speedway, but it's looking a whole lot like that HendrickCars.com number 5 ride on a regular Sunday afternoon. Absolutely crazy speed and dominance, and quickly racing his way to the front of the field here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A great run and a great drive early on for that number 33 machine as he's able to jump up and take that race lead and put himself at the front of the field here this evening. Dale now trying to hold on to position number 2 is my boy Bionic Man. Bionic Man coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook as well. Dropping a like there on the Facebook live stream here this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as some great racing action here this evening with the Racers Elite as their money race here this evening. I do believe I saw on the flyer there was something around almost, man, there was a lot of money on the line here for this race. Potentially a ton of cash into the back pockets here of these drivers, and each and every one of them looking to try to cash in, looking to try to pick up the win and that money here this evening. Let me take a look through my messages here. Okay, I thought that was going to show it there, but it didn't end up showing it, so we'll have to try to figure out where that was and where the potential is for the money. I know we had something up here that Andrew sent me. I can't remember where I saw it or where it was, but we know that there was a lot of money on the line and potentially some big payouts here for a lot of these drivers this afternoon towards the front of the field. As out in front, it is the 33 rider Cole Larson who continues to lead the way. So he is out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Austin Smith trying to hang right there with him. Smith rolling in second. John Ross now up into third. Ross fell back early in this race, but now starting to claw his way back up towards the front of the field. The 9 ride of Dale P. back into position number 4 here with Corey Crowell rounding out our top 5. Brandon Honeycutt now into position number 6 as Truth Hope back in 7th. Cody Bonelli back there in position number 8 with Andrew Teft, Brandon Sanfilippo rounding out our top 10 on the speedway. Troy Thomas in that good wrench number 3 rolls there in 11th with Alex Teft back in position number 12. Aaron Ruff right behind him, the Racers Elite number 57 ride rolls there in the 13th position. Then we see Brandon Puffenbarger in that HendrickCars.com number 5 ride there in 14th. Unfortunately for Puffenbarger, he's fallen back quite a bit. He started up in position number 3 or 4 here this afternoon, and now all the way back here in 14th. He's got Lee Campbell in that Monster Energy number 60 ride right there behind him, and Richard Ode there in 16th. Paul Shaw in the 25 ride, that Wind Creek number 25 machine rolls in 17th. He's got Matt Metler back there behind him. Metler in that Monster Energy number 31 ride. Actually going to lose a position as Christopher Pendell, one of our early race leaders here on the afternoon, after having his run in with an issue out there on the speedway, getting loose there at a corner number 4 and going for a drive down through the infield grass here on the front stretch, and then getting a little contact with that corner 1 wall for the 94 ride. He's now back up into the 18th position as Joshua Neal able to get around that 31 ride as well, now into 19th, moving Matt Metler back to 20th here on the speedway. J.D. Larson back there in 21st as a pair of Larsons out there on the speedway as Cole Larson leads this race. J.D. Larson back in position number 21. Justin Rachter. He's back there in that 0-3 ride, rolling in 22nd with Kirby Wainscott in the Racers Elite number 10 back in 23rd. And then we see the 8 of Curtis Ecker. Ecker back in 24th here, the last driver on the lead lap here. He's about 20 seconds behind, 28 seconds behind our race leaders, and they're quickly rolling up behind him as they're down through quarter 1 and 2. They're going to leave corner number 2 right now, and they may see him in their front windshield as he's about a straightaway behind our race leaders. They were just leaving corner number 2. He was just entering corner number 3 out there on the speedway, and unfortunately for the 50 ride of Terry Fennell already done here this afternoon after having a mistake getting loose out of corner number 4. He ended up going down through the grass, entered pit road, took that car down behind pit wall, and unfortunately for that 50 ride, looks like he is still down and out behind pit wall, getting repairs done to that 50 ride. I'm not sure if we'll see Terry back out there on the speedway, but early on, running into problems there for that 50 machine, and now multiple laps down is out in front. It is the 33 show here this afternoon. Austin Smith, who we saw lead laps early in this race, right there in position number 2. Hoping to have a better long run car. The 33 ride obviously working himself through a ton of track position, running his way through a lot of drivers and potentially wearing out those tires a little bit more than that 23 ride of Austin Smith, who's just been playing it nice and easy. Now we're looking to the outside for this race lead. Smith looking to take the race lead back away from Cole Larson. Larson's car potentially starting to fall off a little bit. Those tires starting to wear out, and looks like Austin Smith really starting to come alive here. We've seen this a lot out of that Red Bull 23 ride. Seems like he is very good on the long runs here. We've seen it out of John Ross and Corey Crowell and a bunch of these other drivers. Right now for Cole Larson, he's going to slide back at one spot on the speedways down low. You do see one driver going a lap down. That is the 0-3 ride of Justin Rachter. Rachter, unfortunately, going a lap down. Looks like he's got some heavy right front damage here on that 0-3 machine, and unfortunately already having a rough day back outside the top 20. Now looks like that Ford Mustang with heavy right side damage. That right front pointed in the wrong direction here as he's just trying to get it to turn down pit road and hope to see if he can get this car repaired and back out there on the speedway, but now going to fall a few laps down here on the racetrack. But good news is that he is currently the only driver a lap down out there on the speedway, so we do get a few caution flags back to back out there on the racetrack, that he could potentially get a couple of those lucky dogs and work himself back onto the lead lap here this evening. But it's going to be an uphill battle, and already having these issues here as they're going to try to get that car repaired and get him back out there onto the racetrack. Curtis Ecker now into 23rd here. He's still at risk of potentially becoming a lap down driver here in a quick hurry as Austin Smith and our other race leader Cole Larson right there behind him. Dale Prokop back there in position number 3 with Corey Crowell rounding out our top 4. Brandon Honeycutt right there joining that battle as he now jumps inside the top 5 as John Ross slides back into position number 6. Truth Hoke back in 7th with Andrew Teff there in 8th. Then we see Cody Bonelli and that 12 rider Brandon Sanfilippo rolling out our top 10 on the speedway. Alex Teff just on the outside of the top 10 looking in that beautiful Futurama Toyota out there on the speedway as that Planet Express ride out in front. He's trying to race his way out in front. He's just outside the top 10 here, but man, oh man, he is definitely looking good out there. We love some Futurama. We may have to get Alex up here, figure out who his favorite character is off of Futurama here. Is there some guesses up in the comment section? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that maybe he likes Fry? I mean, probably not Leela. I don't know. Some people like Leela, but I don't think a lot of people like Leela. You're either a Fry fan or a Bender fan out there with the Futurama fan base. I mean, maybe a little bit of Zoidberg as well, maybe. I mean, Zoidberg was always pretty funny, always awesome to watch. I mean, you can never go wrong with Hermes or anyone else, man. It's such a great show. Such a great showing. Pretty cool to see him there being represented on that number 43, right? We see that slurp there on the side of that car as well, and maybe that's what that car is jacked up on here this afternoon. As he's up 9 spots. He started back in 20th, now up into 11th, and looking to try to race his way inside the top 10, just slowly but surely racing his way up towards the front of the field. As out in front, Austin Smith continues to lead the way, as down across the line they will click off lap number 50. So 50 laps into this race already, 50 laps in out of 267 laps. There is still a lot of racing left here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we got our Timmies, we got our coffee, we are ready. We're in for the long haul here this afternoon. Oh, coffee is so good, chat. Coffee is so good. As you do see that 10 ride, the Racers Elite Machine, unfortunately, gonna go a lap down there himself. So an unfortunate break for the 10 ride, as he is now gonna go a lap down out there on the Speedway. That is Kirby Wayne Scott, unfortunately, now down a lap. Curtis Ecker also down a lap in that Jack Daniels Coca-Cola number 8 ride. So a couple more drivers now down laps here on the Speedway. Cody Bonelli down pit road here, making that early pit stop here this evening. So Cody gonna take the big gamble here, be one of those first drivers to head down pit side, get those fresh tires, get that fuel, and get that beautiful number 19 ride back out there onto the Speedway. Now here's the big risk for the 19 ride. Early on, you can use these fresh tires. You can lay down some really good lap times out there on the Speedway with the fresh tires, where you're going to be able to gain a ton of track position, potentially leapfrog a lot of drivers that are going to stay out on the racetrack longer than you are. But if we see it stay clean and green, we see things cycle through at the front end, could really help out the 19 ride. On the bottom end, he's going to start to fall back later in the run here for him, but that local 19 machine, he has, he's got that big gamble. He now sits a lap down, and unfortunately, if a caution flag were to fly, if these drivers that are in front of him stay out for another 10, 15, 20 laps, however long their fuel mileage can last here, if they stay out and there's a caution flag on the Speedway, he could be sunk a lap down in a quick hurry. Gonna have to look for a pass, a wave around, or look for potentially, a lucky dog or something to get that lap back. So that's always the gamble there. Coming down early, being one of those first drivers down pit side, as now we see this very funky, very crazy Monster Energy number 16 ride of Lee Campbell. Campbell gonna head down pit side here as well. Gonna get that car jacked up. They're gonna work on this machine, get some 4 fresh tires onto it, get him filled with fuel, and back out there onto the Speedway. As Lee Campbell making that pit stop, we did see Curtis Ecker also come down pit road and make a pit stop as well. So for Ecker, I do believe he's now going to be a couple laps down out there on the Speedway. Sorry, had a little bit of an ear itch right there. I don't know what was going on with that, but I had to itch my ear right there. And we do see Austin Smith continue to lead the way. He's actually starting to really open up that race lead. He's starting to pull away from Cole Larson. It is about 1.7 seconds, the difference between first and second right now on the racetrack. And it's a little bit of a code red for that 33 ride, as Larson now sits back in second and losing touch with our race leader, Dale Prop Cup. They're in position number 3. Pro Cup, they're in that third spot on the racetrack. He's starting to feel a little bit of pressure from the other Midwest Motorsports ride up here inside the top 5. As Corey Crowell trying to race his way up to the front here. He's looking down low underneath of that 9 ride, trying to move himself into position number 3. John Ross trying to hold on to position number 5 out there on the racetrack, as he's got the Racers Elite McDonald's 98 ride of Andrew Taft right there with him. Taft looking to make some moves, and now here comes Truth Hoke, as well as Brandon Honeycutt, Brandon Sanfilippo, and Alex Taft now rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. It's some great racing all around the racetrack, but the battles are brewing. You see the 9 ride getting a little loose right there. Unfortunately, they were 3 wide, had to roll out of the throttle as the Racers Elite number 10 ride. Unfortunately, lap traffic there playing a little hand at that one, as he had to roll out of the throttle. Now going to lose that 3rd spot to Corey Crowell, lose 4th to John Ross, and potentially lose that 5th position to the 98 of Andrew Taft. As Taft going to move around him here as the Racers Elite, the AMR Race Control, number 98 ride. Up and in to position number 5 here this afternoon as Dale Pro Cup Velequet back into position number 6 on the Speedway. Truth Hoke right there on his back bumper, looking to see if he can move himself back into position number 6. Brandon Honeycutt trying to hunt them down. Brandon Sanfilippo as well, quite a ways back there behind that battle, but trying to slowly but surely inch his way up to that fight. Same with Alex Heft, who now rounds out our top 10 as we do see Aaron Roth. Roth heads down pit side. The all-in number 57 machine heads down pit road here in this one. So he's down pit side. Same with the 78 ride as the Sherry Strong, is that what that said? Sherry Strong, number 78 of Richard Ode, down pit side as well as the SherryStrong.org 98 ride down pit side here. Getting that service, getting that fuel, getting the tires back onto the 78 ride and rolling back out there onto the racetrack. Now a lap down as well, as right now the driver that is currently sitting in that free pass position is that number 10 ride of Kirby Wainscott. Wainscott really hoping to see that caution flag fly. If you can see that yellow flag, could potentially get that free past the lucky dog and back onto the lead lap here this evening, trying to play out this strategy and just hoping to see that yellow flag as we start to see more drivers head down pit side. Here comes the good wrench, number 3 machine, the Ford Food City Camaro down pit side here of Troy Thomas. Is Thomas down pit side? Here comes John Ross as well in the Adrenaline Complete Graphics Sim Motion number 44 ride down pit side here as well, looking to get some service and work done to his car as they cross over each other there on pit road. He's gonna head to his pit box and get that 44 ride. A little bit of work, a little bit of tires, and a little bit of love out there on the speedways right now. It's Austin Smith who continues to lead this race. Smith out in front by almost 5 seconds between himself and Andrew Taft as we see the Mountain Dew Code Red number 33 ride. The Ryko machine heads down to his pit box, goes a little too far, has to throw it in reverse. That's going to cost him some time out there on the racetrack as Cole Larson had worked himself from 23rd up to the race lead, led a few laps before giving it back up to Austin Smith. Now makes his first pit stop of the afternoon and now falls back into about that 14th position and now being a lap down. Now back into 15th as Kirby Wainscott rolls around him here. That is currently our free pass position out there on the speedway. The first driver 1 lap down out there on the racetrack as my boy Chris Pilo. What's good, Pilo? Chris coming in, showing the love here in this one. What's good, brother? As Chris says, what a day. Get to drive for 10 hours listening to the best voice in sim sports. Let's go, buddy. Let's go, Chris. Let's go, Mr. Pilo. I appreciate that, my boy, coming in showing the love here in this one. Not only coming in with the like on the stream, but the big D of the day, the 100-star dono here this evening, coming in showing the big love is, yeah, you're going to hear, you got a 10-hour drive. You're driving for 10 hours. We may be up here in the broadcast booth for 10 hours here this afternoon. We got our work cut out for us. Obviously, a full-length NASCAR race here this evening. We're about to roll over, our, I would almost call it the first quarter, but not quite the first quarter out here on the racetrack as lap 66 up onto the board. We're about to click on lap number 67, meaning that we're going to have about 200 laps of racing action here this evening. Probably still about another couple hours of this race to go, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a lot of time to run into mistakes, have problems, see caution flags, and see some big wrecks out there on the speedway and drivers running through that adversity here this evening. But so far, it's been clean and green. 67 laps now of racing action, caution-free out there on the speedway. We've started to see some of these green flag pit stops, drivers trying to use some of that strategy to their advantage here this afternoon. Other drivers trying to play their own strategy games here on their own accord here today. And right now, with 200 laps left, it is anybody's race, but it is the 23 ride who's out in front, continuing to lead the way. But here you go, Austin Smith heads down pit side. Smith comes down pit road, giving up that race lead. Same with Truth Hoke. Hoke down pit side, as well as Brandon Sanfilippo. This will probably bring an onslaught of drivers down pit side. We did see the Rockin' Vodka number 18 ride of J.D. Larson also down onto pit lane. Here comes Alex Teft as well in that Futurama number 43 ride. Is out in front, taking the race lead, now looking to come down pit side here himself. The Racers Elite McDonald's number 98 ride of Andrew Teft comes down pit road. Same with Dale Prokop Volaket down pit side. Brandon Honeycutt gonna follow him here in position number 4. As Corey Crowell gonna stay up there for at least another lap as the Mars Midwest Motorsports number 20 of Corey Crowell out in front leading this race now. So Crowell at the front of the field trying to show these drivers how to maybe run this strategy out, maybe try to run a little bit of a different groove, but now it looks like he's going to head down pit side as well. So he heads down pit road and potentially going to hand this race lead over to one of his Midwest Motorsports teammates, the HendrickCars.com number 5 rider, Brandon Puffenbarger. Looks like Puffenbarger going to come down pit road here as well. So he's going to head down pit side as Corey Crowell will lead another lap. Here comes the 82 ride, the other Midwest Motorsports machine out there on the Speedway. That is Joshua Neal. So Joshua heads down pit side here himself, and now with the pit strategy kind of cycling through, everyone kind of coming down pit side except for a couple drivers left to come down pit road. This will give the race lead back over once again to their teammate Austin Smith. Smith down the front straightaway will take that race lead back away as the 19 of Cody Bonelli. We talked about Bonelli and how that early pit stop coming down pit road on lap number 50 using those fresh tires for quite a while out there on the Speedway. Gonna leapfrog him around a lot of drivers. On the tail end of this run though, we could start to see that 19 ride fall off in a quick hurry, and drivers working themselves up and around that number 19 machine as he rolls in position number 2. Has about a 2-second gap between himself and Austin Smith, about 2 seconds back to that 33 ride of Cole Larson, as Larson has about 12 lap better tires. The drivers back behind the 33 ride have about 18 lap better tires than the 19 of Cody Bonelli, who rolls in position number 2. And right now you see some of those fresher tires actually battling hard here with him, as the 18 ride of J.D. Larson has 16 lap better tires than that 19 ride. He's able to make that pass and roll right around him. Same with Curtis Ecker there in that number 8 ride. Ecker down pit road on lap 51. He tried to take that early pit stop strategy to help himself out through the day, and he's back up into the 18th position, trying to keep himself on the lead lap, but unfortunately right now does find himself a lap down, and unfortunately Austin Smith quite a ways in front of him here, and unless if Smith runs into problems or we start to see some caution flags flying, there's going to be a lot of drivers that may be trapped and stuck a lap down out there on the Speedway. And as this race continues, we may see even more laps being, more drivers being put down a lap or multiple laps out there on the Speedway. Is back there behind our race leader, just laying down the quickest lap time of this race is that 33 rider, Cole Larson. Larson again through some of this traffic, trying to race his way to the front of the field, trying to work himself around that Midwest Motorsports number 82 ride of Joshua Neal. Neal gonna slide back there behind him as that 33 ride last time around laid the quickest lap of this race, a 30:89 out there on the Speedway, and for the second time here this evening getting that fastest lap of the race. And that 33 doing it through some traffic in the Mountain Dew Code Red ride, especially with these fresh tires. Seems like he is blazing fast. Later in that run, seemed like he started to fall off, where the 23 of Austin Smith continued on laying down great laps. Now Smith does have 5 lap better tires than him and a 3-second gap. So 3 seconds between first and second out there on the Speedway. About 5.5 seconds back, we do see Cody Bonelli there in that 3rd position, and then about a little farther back behind him, we see this 98 ride of Andrew Teft with some great strategy here this afternoon. Looks like he's got a great car and a great piece here this evening in that McDonald's AMR GTR number 98 ride, as the Racers Elite machine rolls there in position number 4. Dale Pro Cup. They're in position number 5 with Brandon Honeycutt back in 6. Corey Crowell, they're in 7th with Christopher Pendel, who was leading laps early in this race, had an issue down the front straightaway, went from virtually inside our top 5 all the way back into 21st. He's kind of rebounded nicely here as he now rolls in that 8th position. Now, he did come down pit side quite a bit earlier, sooner than these drivers in front of him. A lot of them were down pit road about 10 laps or so after this 94 ride, so he's at a little bit of a disadvantage when he's trying to work his way up and through these top 10 drivers, but right now sits back in that 8th position trying to rebound from that early race incident. Richard Ode, he's there in 9th with Aaron Roth, rounding out our top 10 now on the Speedway as Roth rolls there in that 10th position. It's Austin Smith, though, out in front. Smith not really giving up too much time. He's continuing to stay kind of steady with that 33 ride. Even every once in a while seems like he gets a bit better of a run, able to extend that race lead out there on the Speedway. And we'll see if that 23 continue on this march out in front of this field and continue to lay down great laps, just staying consistent, trying to protect those tires and see if he can try to drive away to a big win and potentially a big payday here this evening. I do believe there is money on the line, and this is a money race. There was a lot of drivers that put money into this race. Well, there was a lot of cats that ended up putting in quite a bit of entries here. Not sure exactly how many we ended up with, but I do believe it seems to be about 33 drivers or so that came in and put some money into this race, that came in and paid for being able to play. And now some of these drivers just not here this afternoon, as we don't see Alex Gates, we don't see Zach Burrick out there, we don't see Michael Prince out there on the Speedway. Pete Polini not out there either. So there's a few drivers that unfortunately are missing from this race. Rob Yost Jr. not out there. We don't see Chris Lawrence out there. Jimmy Walker not in attendance here this afternoon. Brandon Zimmerman not out there either. Sean Dunaway not out there onto the racetrack. I don't know if these drivers just unfortunately missed the start of this race or just ended up getting busy. Unfortunately, we do see no Brian LaPratt out there as well. Kensley Smith not out there on the Speedway, so there's a lot of drivers that unfortunately not here this afternoon. So that's a tough break. Supposed to have 35, ended up with 25 starting this race, and a good break for a lot of these other drivers. A lot less traffic, a lot less chaos to have to deal with, but unfortunately for some of them, missing out on the action here this evening, as we do see heavy contact for the Goodwrench number 3 ride. Heavy front end damage here for Troy Thomas, as Thomas running into problems. No caution flag out there on the racetrack. Oh baby, oh, that was a big hit right there. There is debris on the racetrack, but no caution flag. Is iRacing going to get that cleaned up? I'm not sure what happens here to that number 3 machine. He's trying to work his way back up towards the front of the field here and just gets loose out of corner number 4, gets down onto the apron. The car hooks up the racetrack and into that corner 4 front straightaway wall right there, and heavy front end damage here for that 3 machine. That whole right front corner just absolutely tore to shreds. Unfortunately, he may be spending some extra time down pit road here, as there we go. He gets down into his pit box, overshoots it there a little bit, has to back it up. Luckily enough, does have the one quick repair here in this race, so he's going to be able to get that car repaired quickly, get some fresh tires, roll back out there onto the racetrack. But now he's down an extra set of tires plus that quick repair, where if he runs into issues again out there on the Speedway, if that happens again throughout this race for that 3 machine, his night could be over in a quick hurry. That looked to be at least 30-40 minutes potentially of repairs to be done to that 3 ride for how heavy of a hit that was. And unfortunately, you have to spend that much time down pit side. You are going to go a lot of laps down, and your opportunity to win this race is going to go out the window. And unfortunately for the 3 ride, even just that contact, that extra trip down pit side, may have cost him this race right there, as that was a very heavy hit. An unfortunate break there for him, as unfortunate contact for that number 3 machine. There's Laura coming in, showing the love over there on Twitch. Laura definitely just a bot looking for attention over there. Same with the other one that's in there. I don't even know why I still stream on Twitch. Twitch is honestly just filled with bots. That's literally all it is most of the time over there on Twitch. So we're just going to yeet them and delete them over there, man. Like, we know that you're a bot. Your account was created literally 2 days ago. And going in here and how's streaming going? They always do the same thing. How's streaming going? If you want, add me on Discord. I'm a graphic artist. Get out of here, bots. Get out of here. No one's falling for that shit. And if they are, honestly, they probably deserve to get scammed. As out in front, trying to scam everyone else out of the money here this afternoon. Leading this race by 5.8 seconds now, it's Austin Smith. Smith out in front, putting on a great performance here this afternoon. After qualifying in that pole position, leading some laps early in the race, battling back to the front of the field after some strategy there through that first run of the day. Now has this race lead and continuing to pull away from position number 2. Cole Larson now back 6.4 seconds, continuing to fall back and away from our race leader is Austin Smith, continuing to lay down some great lap times and stretching that race lead out. As Dale Prop Cup Veclet there in position number 3. Trying to hold on to that third spot as the 9 ride, unfortunately, down a lap here as well. Now, is he down a lap in that 9 ride? No, Dale hanging on to that third position here. Moving around some lap traffic there as the 18 ride unfortunately already a lap down. That is J.D. Larson as Andrew Teft right there as well. Teft in that Racers Elite 98 right now. They're about 8 seconds back behind our race leader here in that 3rd and 4th position. Honeycutt a little farther back behind them. The 13 ride up inside the top 5 here this evening. As Corey Crowell there in 6th. Cody Bonelli there in 7th with Brandon Puffenbarger. Truth Hoke making his way around that number 12 rider, trying to make that pass here on San Filippo. San Filippo trying to hold on to that 9th position, but looks like Truth Hoke going to take that 9th spot away from him. They're going to continue to battle back here for position number 9 on the Speedway. That 5 rider, Brandon Puffenbarger, right there in front of him. This is probably one of the best battles out there on the racetrack as the 31 reeling them in here. That's Matt Metler. Metler, unfortunately, is a lap down out there on the Speedway. The Monster Energy 31 ride rolls back in 20th position on the racetrack. John Ross, unfortunately, down a lap as well. John was up inside the top 5, top 10, battling here in this race, but unfortunately, not sure if he had an extended pit stop there or had to make a additional pit stop for the complete graphics adrenaline number 44 ride as he's back in 19th and hoping to see a caution flag and potentially try to get himself a wave around here this evening. Paul Shaw in the Wind Creek Event Center, number 25 ride. He's right there in that 17th position with J.D. Larson up there in 16th. Unfortunately for J.D., he is not in that free pass spot as right now I do believe it could belong to Joshua Neal. Neal rolls in 15th here on the racetrack, but I do believe he is potentially going to lose that spot here as he's sitting in that free pass position, trying to hope and see that his teammate does not make any other passes here on any of these other drivers that are on the lead lap before we see a caution flag as he currently sits in that free pass position. The lucky dog spot out there on the Speedway. He's actually battling here inside some of our top 5 drivers as we do see Cole Larson, Dale, and Andrew Teft all right there nose to tail out there on the racetrack. They roll 1, 2, and 3 here, or 2, 3, and 4 on the racetrack. Nose to tail out there on the Speedway, and that's just allowing Austin Smith to open up even more of a race lead as they are 3 wide here for second on the racetrack. 3 wide is Andrew Teft down low looking to take that second spot away. Cole Larson trying to hold on to position number 2. It's going to get tight down there as the 98 pushes up the racetrack ever so slightly. That's going to put Dale up into the outside fence. Heavy right side contact here for the Budweiser number 9 ride as out of corner number 2. Things were getting tight there for those 3 as they were 3 wide. Unfortunately, you see the 98. He sends it deep down low here in the bottom side of the racetrack. Now, he's going to miss the bottom, runs up the racetrack right there as he gets a little bit loose. A little contact there between him and the 33. 23 pushes the 9 right up the racetrack, trying to avoid contact. Unfortunately, up in all that dirty gravel up there, the marbles that have built up on the extreme high side there on corner A. So he kind of runs into those. It's like running on marbles, and unfortunately that car goes up and into the outside fence, loses a couple spots there. As you do see the 13 ride get very loose there at a corner number 4, but you do see Brandon Honeycutt able to make his way around that number 9 ride as Dale slides back now into position number 5 on the speedway and has that right side damage on that 9 ride. Now hopefully that's not going to affect him too much, as we do see the 98 of Andrew Taft up and into second here. He was able to complete that pass for position number 2, moving Cole Larson back to 3rd. Brandon Honeycutt there in 4th as Dale rolls back there in that 5th position. Corey Crowell a little farther back here in position number 6. Cody Benelli there in 7th with Brandon Huffenbarger, Truth Hoke, Brandon Sanfilippo, Alex Taft, Richard Ode, Christopher Pendel, and Aaron Roth rounding out our top 14, all still on the lead lap here this evening. As the 57 right on the lead lap rolls there in that 14th position. He's about 30 seconds behind our race leader, as there we go. Less than half a straightaway away from potentially putting that 57 ride of Aaron Roth a lap down, and some more of these drivers that are up inside our top 15 here this evening, is that number 23 of Austin Smith out in front by over 9 seconds now between himself and Andrew Taft. There's Taft just rolling through corner 1 and 2. Down out of corner number 2, we see our race leader already in corner 3, rolling through the center of that corner. So he is more than a straightaway in front of our second place driver and looking to continue to stretch out that race lead, but starting to run into some of this lap traffic here. Gonna have to try to figure his way through some of these guys, trying to make some of these passes, and unfortunately for his teammate Joshua Neal, Joshua, who currently sits in that lucky dog, that free pass position, is going to lose that free pass spot as his teammate Austin Smith from the Midwest Motorsports, number 23, puts that 57 of Aaron Roth a lap down out there on the racetrack. Roth now in the free pass spot, but he does see Christopher Pendel right there in front of him. Pendel potentially going to be the next driver a lap down here in that 13th position, as the Pepsi Wild Cherry number 94 ride out in front early in this race, led some laps, was able to make a pass in and take the early race lead away from that 23 ride of Austin Smith. And now he's at risk of being a lap down here himself this afternoon, and not too far in front of them is that 78 ride of Richard Ode. So some of these drivers could potentially go a lap down in a quick hurry here this evening, as there's Austin Smith down low, rolling to the inside of that 94 ride, and he is going to put Christopher Pendel down a lap as well here this afternoon. So we're lapped with only 12 drivers left on the lead lap here in this race, as man, oh man, oh man, this one's moving along quickly, as down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. The 23 right down across the line will complete lap number 100. So 100 laps into the books here this afternoon with the Racers Elite Money Racing Single Event League here this evening. 100 laps in and 167 laps left to go. Still a lot of racing action left here this evening for all of these drivers. Still a lot of time to make mistakes or have something happen for drivers out there on the speedway. Potential of caution flags that could fly and could potentially make this race that much more fun here this afternoon. As we see that number 23 machine out in front continue to lead the way, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this morning on Peacemaker Gaming as we crank it up again here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out there on the Speedway as we crank it up here with the Racers Elite as out in front, continuing to lead the way with almost a 10-second lead, a commanding lead out there on the Speedway. It's Austin Smith who continues to lead this race. He's got a solid advantage here this afternoon and now getting ready for potentially our second wave of green flag pit stops for our front runners here this evening. We'll wait and see how long they stay out there on the Speedway. Last time down pit side, we saw these guys go about 67, 68 laps. Now some of them are starting to short pit it here, coming down pit side a little early as we do see Richard Ode head down pit side now looking to get some service done to that 78 ride. As my boy Jordan LaFont coming and showing the love here this evening as well. Says, what time did this start this morning? This started just before 11 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, just started a little bit before 11 o'clock Eastern time. We've already been live for, what are we looking at here? About an hour and 19 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes that we've been live here. It's been a lot of rise and grind here this afternoon for your old boy Peacemaker up here in the broadcast booth. As out there on the racetrack, all these drivers, they've been rising and grinding here as well, running a lot of laps here. We've been clean and green. 0 caution flags out there on the racetrack, 0 yellow flags. It's been nothing but good, hard racing for the first 125 laps of this race as we inch closer and closer to that halfway marker here this evening. Jordan LaFont says, oh, Honeycutt running fourth. Yeah, Honeycutt up into position number 4 right now. We see a lot of these fantastic drivers in a lot of our other series, and good to see them out there having some good runs here today in this race. Says my boy Jordan LaFont coming in with the like on the stream. Aaron Ben Schneider, what's good, Ben Schneider? Ben Schneider coming in with that thumbs up on the broadcast as well. I appreciate that, Aaron, coming in, showing the love here in this one. And my boy Curtis Turriff, KT Services coming in, showing the love here this evening as well. KT coming in, dropping that thumbs up here on the broadcast, showing the love here this evening with that like on the stream as well. We appreciate that. Everyone coming in, showing the love early here this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button as we continue to grind here this evening. This is race number 1 of 3 here this evening. We have this race that will come to a draw probably in about another hour and a half from now, getting done probably roughly around 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then we got a couple hour break before we go back live with the Outcast Racing League. As the Outcast Racing League, they will go to battle here this afternoon. I do believe they head to Indy, so they're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this evening, probably from about 4 o'clock till 6:30, somewhere in that area is normally where we see the Outcast Racing League group kind of get finished up their great racing action. A couple hour broadcast there with those guys, and then an hour or so after that race ends, we'll be jumping into the booth again for the 3rd time here on the evening, as we got a absolutely amazing race to produce later on this afternoon as well. A little bit of a memorial race for one of the drivers and one of the crew of another series, doing a little bit of an memorial race for him there. I got to make sure I'm right on the name. I don't want to get it wrong or anything else, but I do know that it's going to be a memorial race, a 100-lap big block modified dirt race at Lanier, so that should be a ton of fun. We're going to see some great racing there. Heat races, a 100-lap feature event at Lanier, and it's going to be a lot of fun being back on the dirt track here later on this afternoon. But we still got a lot of racing here in this one with the Racers Elite to produce here this evening, as these guys put on a great show, a great race for us, lap after lap, continuing to put down some great laps here on the Speedway, continuing to put on a great show for all the fans in the stands here this evening. As out in front, it is that Red Bull 23 ride of Austin Smith. Smith is a man on a mission here this evening, as he is out in front by over 10 seconds. It is 10.25 seconds, the gap between himself and this McDonald's Racers Elite number 98 ride of Andrew Taft. Brandon Honeycutt now up and into position number 3, as Dale Prokop Valaquette back in position number 4. Valaquette back in that 4th position, with Corey Crowell rounding out our top 5. Brandon Puffenbarger there in 6th with True Hoke back in position number 7. Brandon Sanfilippo there in 8th with Alex Taft rounding out our top 9, and rounding out our top 10 is this Wind Creek 25 ride of Paul Shaw. Shaw rounding out the top 10 here on the Speedway as J.D. Larson back in 11th here in that Rockin' Vodka number 18 machine. Cole Larson, who we saw race his way early in this race, started back in 23rd. Took him 32 laps to race his way to the front of the field, passing 22 other drivers in leading this race. He was out in front there for a little while, finally ended up giving up the race lead as his tires started to fall off, and we saw the 23 ride of Austin Smith take the race lead back away from him and continue on leading this race. Now, ever since then, obviously, we saw a couple drivers during the green flag pit stops lead a lap or two out there on the Speedway, but Austin Smith has been out in front since that point and continuing to control this race. But the car here in the 33 machine continues to lay down blazing fast lap times. Last time around the racetrack, he just laid down the quickest lap of this race. The quickest lap of this race, him and J.D. Larson now tied with that quickest lap, but it's going down to the 1,000ths of a second, and Cole Larson with the quickest lap here this evening in that 33 ride as he will roll around our race leader, and that will put him back to at least one lap down as we see our race leader head down pit side. So Austin Smith finally coming down pit road here in that 23 machine. We'll see if Andrew Taft decides to stay out. Does look like Taft is going to stay for an extra lap. Brandon Honeycutt potentially going to stay out here. Same with some more of our top 5 drivers. Does Corey Crowell? He stays out as well here. So looks like Austin Smith just a little bit off schedule here with his teammates as Corey Crowell and Brandon Puffenbarger both going to stay out there on the racetrack in the Midwest Motorsports rides. Going to continue to try to run some of that strategy here this evening. We do see Truth Hoke head down pit road though in that 55 right as Austin Smith, our race leader, getting his pit stop done quickly, rolling back out there onto the racetrack as he runs down and out of corner number 1. He's going to keep that car down on the apron, hit that blue cone down the back straightaway, and rejoin this field, rejoin this race in his beautiful Camaro here this afternoon. As here he comes, rolls back out onto the racetrack. Right there behind him is our race leader, Andrew Taft. Taft would love to try to put that 23 ride a lap down and hope to see a caution flag and maybe trap him back there a little bit, but unfortunately too quick there out of pit lane, and the 23 will keep himself on the lead lap as now we do see Andrew Taft, Brandon Honeycutt, Dale Prop Cup Valaket coming down pit side as well in that Budweiser number 9 machine. Gonna hand that race lead over to the Midwest Motorsports number 20 ride of Corey Crowell. Crowell on a little bit of a different strategy call here. We saw that out of him early in this race as well. He extended this that first run by a few laps more than everybody else. Ran to lap 69 before coming down pit side. Now we'll see what he does here in this race as he may try to run that out a little bit more. See if he can try to make this a 3 or 4 pit stop race without having to come back down pit side too many more times here this evening. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy call is. As Brandon Puffenbarger, he heads down pit road. The HendrickCars.com number 5 ride hits pit lane. So one of those Midwest Motorsports rides finally coming down pit side, and out in front it is still a pair of the Midwest Motorsports cars as Corey Crowell out in front of the field extending this green flag run for himself, not coming down pit side as of yet. Looks like he's going to run another lap out here as well. So for the Mobile 1 number 20 ride, definitely playing a bit of that strategy game here this evening. Austin Smith rolls there in second. Now on the racetrack here, he now has about a 13-second gap between himself and Brandon Honeycutt. Now Honeycutt, Dale, and Andrew Taft, they got about 2 lap better tires than our race leader, but we'll have to wait and see how those tires kind of play out there for the afternoon with these competitors, as it is Brandon Honeycutt back in second. We do see Corey Crowell now finally head down pit side, so Crowell heads down pit road. Austin Smith will consume this race lead as he goes down the front straightaway and back around his teammate in that 20 ride. Honeycutt will end up being our second place driver, about 13 seconds back behind Austin Smith as they lost a couple seconds there with that pit strategy, staying a couple laps longer out there on the speedway and maybe not as quick down pit road as that 23 of Austin Smith. As Smith is now back out in front, and he just laid down the quickest lap of this race by quite a bit, about 0.2 of a second quicker than our previous quick time out there on the speedway. Smith absolutely zooming out here on the speedway, just ran a 30.62 second lap. Our next closest lap time to that is Cole Larson, who ran a 30.82 a few laps ago. So I don't know if this racetrack is getting quicker or the fresh tires or the 23 ride just pushing it a little bit more out there on the speedway, trying to prove his dominance here this evening. But he just laid down an absolutely blazing fast lap time with that lap, and he backs it up with what would have been the quick time either way, a 30.68 that time around the start finish line. So the last two laps technically could have both been the quickest laps on the race. They're the two quickest laps out there on the race, and now the third quickest lap, the third lap in a row here for this number 23 machine. Absolutely laying down some heaters out here on the speedway. The only driver to break that 30.8 second bracket out there on the speedway. A lot of other drivers have joined that 30.8 second bracket here over the last few laps, but no one has been quicker than this 23 ride. And Austin Smith, who continues to lead the way, now really starting to stretch out that race lead. It's 14.3 seconds between himself and Brandon Honeycutt, as Honeycutt rolls there in second. Dale Prop Cup Valaquette rolls back in position number 3 on the speedway. He's about 17 seconds behind our race leader. A second behind him, we see that McDonald's Racers Elite number 98 ride of Andrew Teft. They're in 4th, and we see Cole Larson back in position number 5 here in that Mountain Dew Code Red number 33 machine. Corey Crowell, now he's going to jump up and lay down the quickest lap time of this race. He's able to lay down a great lap time here. He's got the freshest tires out there on the racetrack, the last driver to come down pit road here during these green flag pit stops. And Corey Crowell just laid down a 30.61 lap in the Midwest Motorsports rides, really starting to come alive here past our midway point of this race, as we are just over halfway in and halfway to go here this evening, man. And these drivers are starting to come alive. They're starting to feel it out there on the speedway and starting to lay down some absolutely amazing lap times here this afternoon, as Austin Smith continues to lead the way, continues to stretch that race lead out. His teammates, Corey Crowell, Brandon Puffenbarger, in the 82 ride of Joshua Neal, trying to race their way back up towards the front of the field. Unfortunately for Joshua Neal, he is down a lap out there on the racetrack, at least one lap down, potentially even 2 laps down in that USS Midwest Motorsports 82 machine, and he rolls back in that 16th position as Aaron Roth right in front of him, the 44 of John Ross there as well. A little bit farther forward, we do see Alex Taft, Cody Bonelli there in 12th, and then Christopher Pendel, Brandon Sanfilippo, Richard Ode, Truth Hoke, and Brandon Puffenbarger. Now our last driver on the lead lap, sitting in that 7th position, as True Folk is down a lap. He is right here behind our race leader, Austin Smith. So Smith has been able to lead a lot of laps here this evening, out in front, a commanding 15-second lead here between himself and Brandon Honeycutt, and he just put our 8th place driver a lap down here this evening, and he's not too far away from a bunch of other cats here to potentially put a lap down as well, as Brandon Puffenbarger, his teammate in the Midwest Motorsports, HendrickCars.com, number 5 ride, just there in front of him, a few seconds away from potentially going a lap down himself. About 4.5 seconds in front of that 5 ride, we do see the 20 of Corey Crowell, as Crowell in position number 6. He's trying to hunt down our top 5 here this evening, as Cole Larson, Andrew Taft, Pale Prop Cup Valaquette rolls back there in that 3rd position, and Brandon Honeycutt rounding out our top 2, as he is currently sitting in that 2nd position, has this big gap, 15.5 seconds between himself and our race leader, Austin Smith. And unfortunately, he is still losing time to that 23 ride of Austin Smith, who's continuing to try to stretch out that race lead, continue to try to work himself farther and farther away with that race lead through this evening, as it's been all Austin Smith here this evening. We were able to see a couple of these drivers lead some laps during some of those green flag stints there and those green flag pit stops. We did see Cole Larson lead laps. We saw Corey Crowell and Andrew Teff lead some laps. We saw Dale out in front there for a little bit in this race as well. In that 9 ride, we did see a couple other drivers early in the race leading some laps, including this 94 ride of Christopher Pendell, before Pendell ran into problems and unfortunately went for a ride down through the infield grass, made some contact with that inside wall in corner number 1. Luckily enough, he was able to rebound from that, still rolling back into the 11th position and down a lap now on the speedway, as we've been clean and green throughout this race. No caution flags as of yet, but at any moment in time, we could see a yellow flag flying. We almost saw one right there. The 94 ride getting a little bit loose as the 13 rolling around him right there. Brandon Honeycutt close to potentially making contact there with that 94 ride. Could have been our first caution flag right there, but we keep it clean and green. The 13 and 94 avoid contact and keep on rolling out there on the speedway. As right now, it is the Austin Smith show. 16-second lead now between himself and Brandon Honeycutt. Honeycutt having a great run there in second. He's got about a second and a bit between himself and Dale in that Budweiser number 9 ride, who rolls there in position number 3. A second between him and our 4th place driver, Andrew Teff. Is Teff back there in that 4th position. About 6 seconds behind them, we do see Corey Crowell able to work himself around Cole Larson. Larson falls back into position number 6, and Corey Crowell jumps up into that top 5. So the Midwest Motorsports Mobile 1 number 20 ride now into position number 5 out there on the speedway. Brandon Puffinbarger back there in 7th, still looking to try to keep himself on the lead lap down the back straightaway here in that number 5 ride, but not too far away from him is our race leader there, less than a corner from potentially putting our 7th place driver a lap down. Is right now only 7 cars left on the lead lap here this evening. Now there's quite a bit of lap traffic between the 23 and his teammate in that 5 ride, as Puffinbarger rolls there in 7th, trying to keep himself on the lead lap, and not too far in front of them is Cole Larson. Larson about a straightaway away from potentially going a lap down here himself. So a lot of these drivers, they got to be very, very careful. One bad call, one mistake out there on the speedway, and you could be putting yourself into a very tough position and down a lap out there on the speedway. And with no caution flags as of yet, it is going to be very, very tough to potentially get a free pass, to potentially get a lucky dog out there on the speedway. If we don't see a caution flag, we may see this race go clean and green for 267 laps of racing action. We could see this going clean and green that entire time, which would make for some absolutely crazy racing here this evening. As Cade Spoonsley coming in, dropping that follow over there on Twitch. I appreciate that, Cade, coming in, showing the love here in this one. As out in front, leading the way, it's Austin Smith. Smith is continuing to show these drivers that he is the car to beat. Now, he has given up a little bit of time here, about half a second over the last few laps to Brandon Honeycutt. So maybe Honeycutt being a little bit more patient, trying to take care of those tires a little bit more throughout this run, and now starting to try and close that gap and trying to hunt down our race leader, Austin Smith. But Smith also dealing with a little bit of lap traffic. Could have held him up just enough there to allow that 13 ride to close the gap ever so slightly, but it is still about half a racetrack between first and second out there on the speedway. Smith down through quarter 1 and 2. You see Honeycutt down through 3 and 4 on the racetrack. Down across the line, you see Honeycutt there in across the line right there, and there's the 23 about midway down the back straightaway. So it is virtually about half a racetrack here between first and second on the speedway. Just showing you how good that 23 ride has been here this afternoon. Been absolutely crazy here this evening. evening. These guys put on one heck of a race, one heck of a drive here this evening. And let's see if we can get a little bit of a track map out there as well. Let's see if we can get the track map going and really see where a lot of these drivers are out there on the Speedway. As Austin Smith, all these drivers, let's see if we can get positions on there. Maybe a little bit easier to see here. Let's get positions and see where these drivers really are. So if you look for that number 1 up there in that little bit of a roundabout, he's down across the start-finish line. He's highlighted in the gray with the green circle around it. Down across the line into corner number 1 here, our second place driver halfway across the track here. Quite a ways back there. You do see a lot of traffic, though, in front of our race leader, potentially going to open up the door for our second, third, fourth place drivers. Our fifth place driver is more than half the track. He's just going across the line right there for that fifth place driver is the one rider, our race leader, the 23, just going down through corner number 4. So he's getting closer and closer, but potentially putting even more of these drivers a lap down here this evening. And unfortunately for a lot of these cats, it's going to be tough for them to ever get those laps back and rejoin the fun here and rejoin the battle at the front of the field. Is Smith just a man on a mission here this evening, out in front, leading the way, 15.5 seconds between himself and Brandon Honeycutt. Dale Prop Cup Vlaket back in position at number 3 with Andrew Taft there in 4th and Corey Crowell rounding out our top 5. Corey now, he's about 5 seconds behind that 98 right of Andrew Taft here. He's trying to rejoin and trying to race towards his teammate here who's at the front of the field. I'm sure he'd love to make this a 1-2 finish for the Midwest Motorsports crew, but still trying to come home with a solid top 5 run here this evening as we see J.D. Larson. J.D. runs into some problems. Let's take a look back here and see what happens. No caution flag on the racetrack as J.D. in that Rockin' Vodka ride gets loose out at corner number 4, down through the infield here at the Las Vegas Speedway front straightaway. He's going to go through a hop, skip, and a jump through that small track there through the middle and rolls and rejoins this race here down into corner number 1. Unfortunately loses a ton of track position, a ton of time out there on the Speedway as all that momentum, just trying to keep that car pointed the right direction, but a crazy ride there for J.D. Larson. Let's see if we can jump on board here and take a look here in the cockpit view of what happens to this 28 ride. As he rounds corner number 4, gonna get loose right here, coming back onto the throttle. Rear end just kicks out, shoots that car down the racetrack, and then listen to that car bounce and beat and bang and bottom out, going down through the infield there. We may see that a few times here this afternoon in the real NASCAR race that will get underway in just a couple more hours. I do believe in 3 hours we should see the NASCAR Cup Series live in action here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but right now we get to enjoy the virtual side of things here on iRacing with the Racers Elite Group. As they are rolling out there on the Speedway, they're all trying to hunt down and chase down this 23 of Austin Smith. As we do see Brandon Buffenbarger gonna head down pit side here. Potentially an unscheduled pit stop for that 5 ride. Coming down pit road quite a bit early here. I'm not sure what the strategy call is. He was last down pit road about 30 laps ago, and now running into some issues there. Missed his pit stop, went a little too far forward, had to throw that car quickly into reverse, back it up, and into his pit stop there. But that second or two that he unfortunately was not in his box could put him a lap down, and unfortunately even with that cycle, and now looks like he may be serving a penalty down pit side as well. Being held down pit road here an extended period of time for that number 5 rider, Brandon Buffenbarger, and this is not what you want to see. If you're one of the Midwest Motorsports crew drivers, you do not want to see your teammate parked down on pit road, and now he is falling at least multiple laps down here in this race, and the opportunity for Brandon Buffenbarger with the caution flag to potentially, be in contention of this race. He was still on the lead lap before coming down pit side, but now having that issue coming down pit road and being down there for an extended period, now he finally gets that green light, able to roll back out onto the racetrack after being held down there for multiple seconds here. He is now down at least a few laps on the racetrack, and unfortunately, that may be all she wrote for his opportunity to pick up the win here this evening as he falls back into that 17th position, still just building up speed, rolling back down the back straightaway. Now he's going to have some fresh tires, but he is about a minute, almost 2 minutes behind his our race leader, Austin Smith, his teammate, out there on the racetrack. As Brandon Honeycutt now sliding backwards here as well. Honeycutt running into problems. He went off the racetrack here in that number 13 machine. Now he had the 9 ride of Dale right there on his back bumper. And out of corner number 4, gets loose. Gets down into the infield here himself. Not as bad, but loses a ton of time. Down on the front straightaway. Obviously not up the speed the 13 ride. Just trying to build that momentum back up. And Brandon Honeycutt goes from second now back into position number 4. In moving Dale Prop Cup Voletcat into position number 2, and now he's almost 18 seconds behind our race leader. Absolutely insane pace that we're seeing out of that number 23 of Austin Smith here this afternoon. Now we're going to see more issues for this number 13 ride, as it looks like he's going to get loose and potentially go down off the racetrack again out of corner number 4. Again, loses that rear end, shoots down and through the infield like we've seen drivers in the past here. Down the front straightaway through the grass, rolls back up onto the racetrack here, able to keep that car pointing in the right direction, gets back onto the throttle and no caution flag, but again running into issues, and now back into position number 6 as Corey Crowell and Cole Larson both able to get around him, and now Honeycutt falls back into that 6th position, now potentially at risk of going a lap down out there on the speedway, as he is only 30 seconds behind our race leader. Our race leader is right there behind him, and from going from second and running in that 2nd position to now almost going a lap down for Brandon Honeycutt. A awful turn of events over the last few laps, and we do see another tough break. Brandon Puffenbarger back down pit side. I wonder if something's going amiss under the hood here of this HendrickCars.com number 5 ride, as he heads back down pit side here again this afternoon. Another unscheduled pit stop for that 5 machine, and for Puffenbarger, things going from worse to worse here this afternoon for that 5 machine. Now back in the 20th position, getting new tires put onto this car and potentially going to be held down here again. We'll see if he gets back onto the throttle. No, looks like he's going to be waiting down here on pit lane for a little while longer, and for the 5 ride of Brandon Puffenbarger, his opportunity to win this race has definitely just went out the window. Unless we see about 100 caution flags fly here over the last 100 laps or so of this race, as we are down within our 100 laps left to go in this one. As Braden says, are you watching the race today? I will not be watching the race today, unfortunately. I don't broadcast the races. I don't do the real life stuff. That's copyright content, and unfortunately to restream that stuff without permission, written consent from NASCAR themselves, is highly illegal, and that's how you lose your YouTube channel. That's how you get demonetized. That's how you all of a sudden end up into legal issues with NASCAR themselves. So I don't broadcast those races, unfortunately, and we just do iRacing, brother, and this is better than the real thing. We've seen 173 laps of racing action, caution free, out there on the speedway, and a ton of great racing action. And right now, a dominant driver here at the front of the field, potentially maybe recreating what Bubba Wallace could do in the 23 ride throughout this afternoon, and that's just dominate the race, leading a ton of laps, keeping that 23 ride out in front and pulling away from the rest of the field. 18 seconds now between himself and our 2nd place driver out there on the speedway, as Austin Smith showing these drivers that he is the car to beat here this afternoon, that he is the best car out there on the racetrack, and potentially going to be the guy who jumps up and wins the money here this evening for this money race. As he came here with a game plan, he made sure that he hit everything perfectly. We haven't really seen quite any mistakes out of this 23 ride here this afternoon, and now with such a big lead, even if he does make a couple mistakes, gets a little loose, has to roll out of the throttle to keep himself out of trouble, he can give up a couple seconds a lap and still lead this race by quite a bit out there on the speedway, running into a few of those issues. But he's got to be very careful, as we see that caution flag. This lead could be evaporated in a quick hurry, and the drivers back there behind them may still have a few tricks up their sleeves left here this afternoon as well, as Austin Smith continues to lead the way here in this one. The 23 ride out in front. Andrew Taft now trying to work himself back into 2nd as he works to the inside of that 9 ride. Dale trying to stay in position number 2, but Taft in that Racers Elite. McDonald's, number 98 ride, the W Energy Machine, trying to take back that second spot on the Speedway. And as they continue to battle door to door here for position number 2, it's allowing Austin Smith to open up even more of a lead here between himself and our second and third place drivers, as they're inching towards almost 19 seconds back of that race leader in the 23. Now, it's going to take a miracle, a caution flag, a big mistake out of Austin Smith to open up the door for these two to be driving and battling for what could be the race lead out there on the Speedway. As we do see Corey Crowell now into position number 4 and looking for more. He loved to see those guys battling door to door out there on the racetrack, as he's trying to inch closer and closer to our top 3 here this evening in the Midwest Motorsports ride, trying to join his teammate up there on the podium here this evening. Needs to make up about 4 seconds, almost 4.5 seconds now between himself and Dale and Andrew, who run in second and third on the Speedway. But he is getting a little closer to them and running a little bit of a different strategy. We'll have to wait and see if Corey Crowell can jump up and join this battle for position number 2 here this evening. As Austin Smith out in front has a little bit of lap traffic that he's got to deal with. Looking at trying to put that 18 ride of J.D. Larson another lap down in the 94 ride of Christopher Pendell. Going to fall another lap down as well here. So he's going to go 2 laps down out there on the racetrack for the 94 ride. And now that is where you get into a very tough situation. It is very hard to get 1 lap back, especially with no caution flags out there on the Speedway. No lucky dogs being handed out yet this afternoon, but now being 2 laps down and having a lot of drivers in front of you being 1 lap down here, he's going to need a lot of caution flags to try to get back in to the action here this evening, and keeps on getting up into the outside fence. Unfortunate contact there, hopefully not busting up that right front too much in that Pepsi Cherry, the Wild Cherry machine. They are in that 11th position. It's John Ross up inside the top 10 here. John Ross finds himself a lap or 2 down here in that 44 ride, but now rejoins the top 10 as he's got Richard Ode, Alex Taft, Brandon Sanfilippo, Brandon Honeycutt all a lap down here with him. Actually, Honeycutt has raced his way back onto the lead lap here, or still hanging on to the lead lap, as he hasn't allowed Austin Smith to get around him, but Smith is still right there behind him here, as we saw Honeycutt run into a couple issues. Looked like he was potentially going to go a lap down, but since then has found a little extra speed, starting to use that 13 ride in the correct way and not running into those problems out of corner number 4, and able to keep himself on the lead lap. So still 6 drivers on the lead lap here this evening. 6 drivers hoping and praying to see that caution flag to get another shot at Austin Smith and trying to beat him here this evening, but he is still about 30 seconds behind our race leader and still has Austin Smith right there behind him, as Smith struggling here, trying to make that pass on the 18 ride of J.D. Larson. J.D. with a lot fresher tires there on that number 18 ride, and making it pretty tough here for our race leader. But finally, we do see Austin Smith able to roll around him here, make that pass in. Now has no one between himself and Brandon Honeycutt. So Honeycutt, the next car in line here to potentially go a lap down here this afternoon, as we start to see some drivers head down pit sign here. So another wave of pit stops potentially on the horizon here, as we're going to see the 19 ride head down pit sign here. That is Cody Bonelli heading down pit road. We also see the 78 Richard Ode. He's going to head down pit sign here in that SherryStrong.org ride, and I don't know if that was by choice. He got very loose there out of corner number 4. Next time around, we do see him come down pit sign. So now we do see Brandon Huffenbarger still down pit road here himself. Unfortunately, tough break here throughout the middle portion of this race for the 5 ride, dealing with some unscheduled pit stops, an extra couple trips down pit side, and now spending extended period of time down on pit road. And for that HendrickCars.com number 5 machine of Puffenbarger potentially done here this afternoon, is Austin Smith, his teammate out in front, continuing to lead this race. 18 seconds the gap between himself and Andrew Taft. Taft only half a car length between himself and our third place driver here, as Taft and Dale Pro Cup Valaquette. They're in second and third on the Speedway. Nose to tail out there on the Speedway. They got 4 seconds between themselves and our 4th place driver, Corey Crowell. Crowell trying to hunt them down, trying to join that battle for a top 3 run here this afternoon. As Cole Larson right now rounding out our top 5. A little bit farther back there behind him is that 13 rider, Brandon Honeycutt. Honeycutt, he's close to going a lap down, but so isn't Cole Larson here on the racetrack. As Larson starting to pack up more and more and more and getting closer and closer to our race leader. Honeycutt maybe trying to race his way back inside the top 5 here. If he can keep himself on the lead lap as well, maybe mission accomplished out of that 13 machine. It's going to be very, very tough, though, as that 23 of Austin Smith right there, ready to pounce, ready to join that battle and put those two a lap down, and seeing less than 5 cars on the lead lap is going to be absolutely crazy here this afternoon. It's already been crazy seeing 186 laps of racing action here without a caution flag. Clean and green racing here for almost 2 hours of action. Let's see how long we've actually been under the green flag here. 1 hour and 44 minutes here of race time under the green flag here. Since the drop of the green flag, it's been 1 hour and 44 minutes of non-stop green flag racing, and Austin Smith continuing to lead the way. It's Caleb McKinney. McKinney coming in, showing the love here in this one. Says, go Austin Smith, cheering on that 23 ride here this evening. As Smith has been a man on a mission here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As Aaron Bowman, the showman, coming in, showing the love here as well. What's good, AA Ron? Aaron coming in says, beautiful Sunday for some Peacemaker broadcasting. Yes, Sirski, you know it, my boy. You know it, brother. A beautiful day to be up here in the broadcast booth. An early start for us here this evening as our first of 3 races here this evening. We will have this race come to a close here in just a little bit here, probably about an hour or so from now, maybe even less than that if we stay clean and green out there on the speedways. We're within 100 laps of that checkered flag, but so far it's been clean and green racing and may stay that way. But once this race comes to a close, we're going to get a little bit of a break in, and we'll be back live at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, just before 4 o'clock Eastern Time, with the Outcast Racing League from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see those drivers back in action here this evening, and then we will be back after that race at about 7:30 Eastern Time, just a little after 7:30 Eastern, with a 100-lap big block modified race at Lanier for a memorial race. So we are action-packed here this Sunday afternoon. 3 amazing races, 3 long races that are going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be probably losing my voice. Luckily enough, we don't have anything scheduled or anything planned for tomorrow night, so I got to work it throughout the day. Tomorrow evening may just be a nice, relaxed, chill day. Get some early sleep in and get ready for work the next day, and then right back into the grind here as we got racing action pretty much every single night of the week. And once we see our next Monday series get kicked off here at the end of the month, it's going to be every single night of the week that we will be in action up here in the broadcast booth. Some nights, multiple races on the docket for all the viewers to be able to enjoy the racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. As out in front, that 23 ride continuing to lead the way, continuing to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one as we inch closer to the 2-hour marker of being live here this evening. We inch closer and closer to being done 200 laps of this race, as that 200 lap coming up very, very quickly. I didn't think we were going to see 200 laps here on the evening. I didn't think we were going to see 200 laps on the day, but it is right there around the corner. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Hit that follow button, join the Peacemaker fam, and join the fun here on the channel as we get non-stop racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we're up in the broadcast booth, put on some great shows, some wicked races, some amazing events, and a lot of money being dealt out to these amazing iRacers here on a weekly basis, almost on a nightly basis. But there's not always money on the line. Sometimes it's a lot of points and a lot of bragging rights that are on the line for these drivers. And right now, one driver that's looking for not only the payday here this afternoon, but also looking for the bragging rights after a dominating race out in front of this field. He started to back up a little bit, maybe taking a little bit more care of his tires here, knowing that this is a long race. He's trying to make it to an area where he can make it on fuel. And I do believe once we kind of hit that 200 lap marker, these drivers should be able to make it to the end without having to come down pit side. Now they probably want to race a little bit longer here, maybe try to make it to that 210 laps in, and then come down pit side for what could be their final pit stop of the day. Trying to save that extra little bit of tire for late in the race and make sure that you have that extra fuel left in the tank as well, because you don't want to be able to have some issues. But right now, the 23 ride, he's been a man on a mission. He's looking to move around this 33 ride and put Cole Larson a lap down. Cole Larson right now is our 6th place driver. And as the 23 ride of Austin Smith rolls around his outside, we'll put him a lap down out there on the racetrack. Cole Larson now the first driver 1 lap down. He's in that free pass, the lucky dog position, but we only have 5 drivers left on the lead lap here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go. The 33 ride is going to head down pit side here himself, so he's going to be looking to use those fresh tires and a little bit of this pit strategy to his advantage to try and leapfrog, maybe race his way back onto the lead lap as he'll take that Mountain Dew Code Red, the NASRA Ryco Performance number 33 down to his pit box. The crew is going to go to work, going to try to get that car fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack in a quick hurry as we see John Ross in the complete graphics ride, also down pit side getting his car fixed up. Going to roll back out onto the track here as well as the Adrenaline Complete Graphics Sim Motion number 44 ride rolls out there, currently now scored in that 12th position. Cole Larson just rolling back out onto the racetrack here himself. He is now back into position number 8. So now the driver in the free pass position is Brandon Sanfilippo. Filippo back here in position number 6 on the Speedway. He is in that free pass spot. Would love to see that caution flag fly right now to work his way back into the action and back onto the lead lap here this evening as Austin Smith out in front by about 15 seconds. 15 seconds here between himself and Andrew Teff. Teff has closed that gap by about 3, almost 4 seconds out there on the racetrack. But I think Austin Smith just trying to race things and trying to control this race by just running good, hard, clean laps and not making too many mistakes out there on the Speedway. Not wanting to, burn up these tires too quickly, just trying to survive out there, not put himself into a tough position. He knows he has that huge advantage and he can use it to his advantage here, and just kind of running smoothly out there on the Speedway. Allow those drivers to catch up to him a little bit, save some tires here, maybe extend this run by a little bit, have those better tires later in this race, and trying to see if he can pick up that checkered flag here this evening. As Smith, Andrew Teff, Dale Pro Cup Valaket, Corey Crowell, and Brandon Honeycutt are top 5 out there on the Speedway. Now, Honeycutt definitely loves to see the 23 of Austin Smith back in that pace-off just ever so slightly, as that has left him still on the lead lap back here in that 5th position. Now, he is only about 3 seconds away from going the lap down still out on the Speedway, so if he runs into an issue or has a problem, we could see him potentially go into a lap down in a quick hurry. But Cole Larson, this 33 ride has shown speed all day long, but these drivers have been taking it easy on their tires. We did see some really fast laps get laid down there early on in that last, after those last set of green flag pit stops. And now again, we see it here with Cole Larson. He just laid down the quickest lap time of the afternoon, a 30.4 second lap time. Now the quickest car out there on the racetrack by about 0.2 of a second from our previous quick time on the racetrack held by Corey Crowell. Crowell had that quick time with a 30.61 second lap time, but now 2/21 hundredths of a second quicker was that number 33 rider Cole Larson. He's trying to use these fresh tires to his advantage, trying to race his way up and into the top 5 here, maybe trying to leapfrog some of these drivers. So we do see Austin Smith. He is came down pit side. So our race leader coming down pit road a little bit earlier than everybody else. He knew that he was within his pit window. He can make it to the end here without having to make another green flag pit stop. And for Austin Smith, making that call, coming down pit side, looking to use those fresh tires early on to his advantage as he rolls back out onto the racetrack. Still on the lead lap. Here comes Andrew Teff back behind him, looking to try to potentially put him a lap down. But now that the number 23 gets rolling with those fresh tires, we may see the rest of our top 5 head down pit side. Here comes Andrew Teff. Here comes Dale Procup down pit side. Corey Crowell, he may try to extend it and stay out a little bit longer. Brandon Honeycutt, he's trying to stay out here as well. Maybe going to come down pit side this time. He gets checked up. He makes that hard left-hand turn. He'll come down pit road here himself. Austin Smith looking to leapfrog all those drivers back into position number 2 is Corey Crowell, his teammate, staying out there on the speedway. But we saw Cole Larson. He came down pit road a little bit earlier, just after getting passed by Austin Smith, going a lap down out there on the racetrack. He is still a lap down behind Austin Smith. Unfortunately, quite a bit of a gap between himself and that number 23 as well. Smith was able to get down pit road and back out onto the racetrack in a quick hurry. And that's really where we've seen Austin gain a ton of time and really get the upper hand on a lot of these drivers, is with those pit stops and really gaining those extra positions there and extra time out there on the racetrack with some pretty good pit stops here this evening. As we do see the 98 ride Andrew Teff, our second place driver. He's just getting back up to speed down the back straightaway here. He's still about 14, almost 15 seconds behind our race leader, Austin Smith, as Corey Crowell, he is the race leader right now. Only him and Austin Smith still on the lead lap. I think Corey would love to see a caution flag fly. If we could get that yellow flag, if it could fly right now, it would leave Corey Crowell and Austin Smith as the only 2 drivers left on the lead lap here this afternoon. And with Smith already making a pit stop here, all the drivers back there behind him would be kind of tracked a lap down. Andrew Teff in that free pass position, being the first driver, 1 lap down back there in third, wouldn't be at the tail end of the field, but it would pretty much give Austin Smith and Corey Crowell the front of the field all by themselves, and definitely would be a huge advantage for them here this afternoon. So I think Corey's going to try to run out this run in this tank will feel quite a little while, just hoping and seeing if maybe they can get that caution flag, and then he'll have the freshest tires out there on the speedway, going to try to make up all that time. As here go, he can't wait any longer, and he takes that 20 ride back down pit road. So Corey Crowell makes that pit stop. It will give the race lead back to Austin Smith as he rolls down the back straightaway. The 20 ride down the front stretch here, down across the line, will lead another lap here this evening. So Corey Crowell able to lead that lap, but Austin Smith down out at corner number 4, up the full song and bird, down across the line and around his teammate Corey Crowell. Smith will take that race lead back away. So Austin Smith once again to the front of the field here this evening in that Red Bull number 23. Corey Crowell down pit side, just getting that left side dealt with, getting jacked back up and rolling back out onto the racetrack. Here is Andrew Teff around him, Dale Procup Valaket around him as well into position number 3. Corey Crowell will roll back out onto the racetrack, currently scored in that 4th position, but Cole Larson gonna roll around him here, and Cole will jump up and into position number 4. So Cole Larson now back into that 4th spot here on the speedway as Corey Crowell slides back to position number 5. Brandon Honeycutt scored back there in 6th with Truth Hoke back in 7th. Hoke currently sits in that free pass position, hoping to see that caution flag, get that lucky dog now for the 55 ride and put himself back into this race and back into the contention here this evening. John Ross, he is a lap down, scored back in 8th. Richard Oat a lap down there in 9th, and a lap down scored in the 10th position is Brandon Sanfilippo. Alex Teff back in 11th with Christopher Pendell there in 12th. Paul Shaw back in 13th. Cody Bonelli there in position number 14 with Joshua Neal in the Midwest Motorsports 82 ride, rounding out our top 15. Lee Campbell there in 16th with Kirby Wayne Scott there in 17th. J.D. Larson back in the 18th spot with Aaron Roth, rounding out our top 19. Brandon Puffenbarger down pit side, rounding up the top 20 is Curtis Ecker, Troy Thomas, Matt Metler, Justin Rector, and Terry Fennell have all taken their cars down and off the racetrack, and they are down behind pit wall and no longer out there on the racetrack. So a tough break for those bottom 5, and for our 6th last driver, Brandon Puffenbarger, who rounds out our top 20, still down pit side here himself. As we do see the 94 ride, that Wild Cherry Pepsi Cola number 94 ride, head down pit road here himself. It's Christopher Pendel making that pit stop. He's going to slide back another lap down, maybe even a couple laps down there for the 94 ride, and he's back into that 12th position as of right now as he pulls into that second pit stall as our outside pole sitter here. Not having the run he was hoping for here this afternoon is Austin Smith, our pole sitter on the day, having that picture-perfect race, and right now he's just kind of running smoothly out there on the speedway. The drivers back there behind him running some really good fast lap times. We see Andrew Taft, Dale, Corey Crowell, Brandon Brandon Honeycutt all running inside the 30-second time frame here. Austin Smith is running a 31:42, so he is off the pace by a lot, but I think he is just trying to play out this final stage. He's got that big gap. It was 19 seconds. It has now been cut down to about 9 seconds here between himself and Andrew Taft. Taft is hunting him down in a quick hurry, but Austin Smith, and you just be playing that cat and mouse game. They're burning up their tires, they're blistering them up, they're abusing them out there on the speedway, trying to hunt him down right now. By the time they finally catch that 23 ride, he may still have 80%, 90% of those tires left. Well, these drivers back behind him may be down to 60, 70% of those tires in. He may be able to just pull back away from them and keep them back there behind him throughout the day, and I think that's exactly what Austin Smith is doing. Just trying to play it nice and easy, take care of these tires, not run too quick out there on the speedway, not burn up the equipment until later in this race, and also saving a little bit of fuel here as well, rolling nicely out there on the speedway. As a couple more laps here, we will click off a couple more laps, and we're going to see this race all of a sudden get cut down to about 40 laps left to go here in this race. We inch closer and closer to that 40 laps left to go here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And if you guys haven't already done us a favor, man, it takes nothing, takes no time, helps us out a ton here on Peacemaker Gaming. What I need you guys to do right now, be nice, be courteous, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button on the broadcast for us, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family today. Enjoy non-stop racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. So if you're tuning in and you haven't already, hit that like button for us and hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here this afternoon. As out in front, down across the line, there we go, 2:17 up and onto the board. The next time by, we will see 40 laps of racing action left to go here in this feature event, as we have ran 216, almost 217 laps of non-stop green flag racing here in this one. As Brandon Puffenbarger in the chat says, had some PC issues today. Oh no, brother, that is tough. That is a rough one right there, man. Running into those PC issues, we saw you unfortunately have to make a couple unscheduled pit stops, and then honestly being down pit side for an extended period of time and running into those PC issues. Always a kick in the butt and always a tough one out there on the racetrack, and that is a heartbreaker for you, brother, as you are having a solid run up inside the top 10, looking to try to join a couple of your Midwest Motorsports teammates up here inside the top 5 this afternoon. As we get closer and closer to our checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to jump into our final Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening. So crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and cheer on these drivers here this afternoon with the Racers Elite Money Racing League here this afternoon. and gentlemen, giving up here a great rank it up session right there late in this race as we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag. As out in front, leading the way, it's the 23 of Austin Smith. Smith out in front still by about 4 seconds here. He has allowed Andrew Kemp to kind of close in that gap and get to about that 4-second area. But we've seen and heard there during that crank it up, the 23 ride has been clutching it down through the center of these corners, just rolling this car around the centers here, not using up those tires, not burning up this race car, and giving up that time. He had that huge lead. He was out in front by almost 19 seconds not too long ago, but has given up a ton of time here. Now only 4 seconds back is Andrew Kemp. Kemp has been trying to hunt him down, but in the same time, he's been working and burning up his equipment, trying to close that gap between himself and Austin Smith. Smith has been holding back, saving some of this car for later in this race. And if the 98 ride can't catch him, Austin Smith, I expect to be able to use those tires, use that extra grip that he still has in his car to pull back away from the 98 ride here late in this race. But Andrew sitting solidly there in position number 2 here down across the line. They only got 24 more laps of racing action left here this evening. So with only 24 more laps left to battle, left to duke it out here this evening from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As my boy Jimmy 6 times, Jimmy coming in, showing the love, coming into the YouTube stream, says hi over there. Hello, Jimmy. How are you? Hello. How are you, mister? How you doing this evening, Josh? Hopefully you're having yourself a great day and a great afternoon, and hopefully excited to not only see the virtual racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway today, but also seeing the NASCAR Cup Series live in action from Las Vegas here in just a couple more hours. A couple hours from now, we will see those NASCAR Cup cars jump out onto the racetrack, and they will battle, they will duke it out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, we do see a couple stage breaks there with the NASCAR group, but do we see them doing what we see here this afternoon? The Racers Elite, they jump out onto the racetrack. 25 drivers start this race. There's only about 20 drivers, 19 drivers left rolling out there on the speedway. We've dropped a lot of these drivers out of this field. Unfortunately, some of them have ran into problems, have taken their cars down behind pit wall or off the racetrack. And so far, we've been clean and green. We have had nothing but green flag racing here this afternoon. I don't think NASCAR could do that. I don't think NASCAR, we could see those guys, the professionals in the real life racing cars, go 267 laps potentially here of green flag non-stop racing is down across the line. We're going to click off, I do believe, around lap number 246 laps now of green flag racing here, and so far these guys have been this picture perfect. I don't really expect to see a caution flag fly over the next 21 laps of this race. So with no caution flags throughout the evening, it's been very, very tough for drivers that have ran into problems, had issues, or have went a couple laps down to potentially get those laps back to try to race their way back onto the lead lap. Zero caution flags, zero real opportunities for them to race their way back into the action here this evening. And it has been tough sledding for some of them, as we only have about 5 drivers left on the lead lap, even with Smith being off the pace and just trying to ease this car into victory lane this afternoon. Still only having 5 drivers. 5 drivers on the lead lap here in this race left. We do see John Ross. He's worked himself into that lucky dog position. So if we do see a late race caution flag, he would be in position for that lucky dog to get back onto the lead lap here this evening. Unfortunately, on that restart, he would be back behind all the other lap traffic, and he would be virtually back in about the 19th restarting position and not being able to really join that fight in the battle there inside our top 5 until, he gets through that lap traffic, or we see another caution flag fly and he's able to join them up at the front of the field. For Austin Smith, he does not want to see that caution flag, but right now he's been playing it safe. He's been playing it nice and calm. We saw it there during the one green flag pit cycle, and he came back out onto the racetrack around lap number, I want to say 134, 135, coming back out there with those fresh tires, laid down some really good fast lap times there, able to open up almost an 18-19 second lead between himself and our second and third place drivers. And ever since then, you know, he kind of held that 18-second lead. He started to give it up towards the end of the run before coming back down pit road on lap 201. And once he came back out onto the racetrack, he was not laying down blazing fast lap times. He was just kind of on cruise control, giving up that time. And all of a sudden, we saw Andrew Taft close that gap from about 15 seconds down to about 4 seconds here, and now it's kind of plateaued. Andrew Taft and this number 23 running virtually about the same lap times, maybe now even Austin Smith starting to pull farther away from that 98 ride, and the 9 ride is still back there about 10 seconds behind. Our race leader is Dale Pro Cup Valaket there in position number 3, and he's feeling the pressure here. Corey Crowell has been able to catch up to this 9 ride, now putting the pressure on him here, trying to join his teammate here, the Midwest Motorsports crew, trying to come home in first and third here this evening. If Corey Crowell can make his way around this number 9 ride and steal that third and final podium position away from him here late in this race, as that's one of the best battles out there for position on the racetrack, is Corey Crowell looking to move around this 9 ride for position number 3 here on the Speedway. He's going to roll the inside, the 9 ride through the middle here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it looks like he's going to be able to slide up, clear the nose, but a quick crossover coming out of the 9 ride unfortunately didn't get the run that he was looking for, couldn't get back down to the inside of that 20 ride. He'll get to his back bumper. He's going to continue to try to fight here and try to keep that third spot here, but it looks like Corey Crowell going to take it over. He does have about 4 lap better tires, and unfortunately right now looks like he may have that better car than Dale out there on the Speedway, as the 4 car falls back into position number 4, but gets a great run down into the corner right there, quickly gets back down to the inside, and this battle is not done. Corey Crowell's going to have his work cut out for him, as they're still door to door for position at number 3 here on the Speedway, as they continue to battle there for third, about 10 seconds back of our race leader. Austin Smith out in front, starting to pull away again here, has gained another second on Andrew Taft. Taft now back about 5 seconds behind our race leader, as the Racers Elite McDonald's 98 ride rolls there in position number 2. A very solid day here at the Speedway for Andrew himself, the man with the plan, the master man here this evening is my boy Frank Bondo. What's good, Frank? Frank coming in. Drop that like on the stream. How are you, Frank? How you doing this afternoon? As, oh no, tough break here. Corey Crowell gonna run into some problems here. Corey trying to keep himself in position number 3, all of a sudden gets loose out of corner number 4. He's going to go for a ride in some humps and scumps down through some bumps here on the front straightaway, down through that infield grass, jumps back out onto the racetrack here. Unfortunately, he's going to lose that third position. They had a big enough gap, so he stays in position number 4, but now he's about 5 seconds or so behind that 9 ride. So Dale looking to hold on to position number 3 unless he runs into some more issues, or if Corey Crowell can somehow close that gap over our final 12 laps of this race. As Danny Grova, hopefully I'm saying that, says, why is that track designed here early? Why is that track designed here early? What do you mean, Danny? What do you mean, brother? This is iRacing. This is virtual racing action, not the real-life NASCAR race here on the evening. We will see those guys back in action. We'll see the NASCAR Cup Series here at Las Vegas in about 2 hours from now. But right now, it is the Racers Elite group who are battling here this afternoon, are duking it out here in our 267 lap feature event. And so far we have been clean and green, no caution flags out there on the racetrack. With 10 laps left to go, we have virtually ran 257 laps green flag without any issues out there on the Speedway. We've seen a few drivers get loose, go down through that infield, have those problems. A couple drivers have pancaked the outside fence and have had to come down pit side, and that's where we see 5 of those drivers unfortunately still no longer with us out there on the Speedway, but some of them able to collect their cars, keep themselves from any more damage or trouble out there after going down through that infield here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And they keep on rolling, just like Corey Crowell, who's back there in position number 4 and looking for more. He's cut off about a second between himself and that 9 ride. So Corey definitely showing that he's got the speed to be that third place driver out there on the Speedway, but he may not have enough time to catch back up to this Budweiser number 9 ride and jump in to position number 3 here this evening, as Dale looking to close out our podium on the afternoon. But out in front, looking to close out this race after leading over 200 200 laps of this feature event. It's Austin Smith. Smith, who's out in front, has 4.8 seconds between himself and Andrew Taft. Taft continuing to try to hunt him down, continuing to try to close that gap, trying to make a race out of this. Unfortunately, has a lot of track time that he has to close up, and he's got to pass a lot of other drivers out there on the speedway to race his way to the back bumper of our race leader, Austin Smith. As Smith down across the line, he will take up another lap here. Only 7 laps left to go here this evening. 7 more laps of racing action here this evening for the Racers Elite Group. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in and you're enjoying the racing action here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, give it up for the 23 ride. Give it up for all these amazing drivers, clean and green racing out there on the speedway, giving us some action early here on a Sunday afternoon. Hit that like button for us right now. It is easy. It is free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Hit that thumbs up, hit the like button on the broadcast, and hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the Peacemaker family today and never miss the green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. As the down out of corner number 2, down the back straightaway here with only 6 more laps left to go. The 23 of Austin Smith looking to put himself up and into the Las Vegas Motor Speedway victory lane, as this time down across the start finish line, he will see that high 5 here from our flagman. Only 5 more laps of racing action here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Andrew Taft down 5.5 seconds now behind our race leader as he tries to work himself around. I do believe either his brother or his cousin as the Alex Taft there in the 43 ride back in the 8th position, a lap or 2 down back there in 8th, as we do see Cole Larson able to get around the number 44 as John Ross having to make a late race pit stop here in that adrenaline complete graphics number 44 ride. He falls back into that 10th position. Cole Larson now back up into 6th. Brandon Honeycutt, the last driver on the lead lap, sitting in position number 5 out there on the speedway, sits in that 5th position, and unfortunately he's still at risk of potentially going a lap down as our race leader. Not too far back there behind him is Austin Smith, out in front down into corner number 3. Nice and easy, trying to work himself around the 19 ride there of Cody Bonelli, as Bonelli trying to keep himself out of the way. Obviously some pretty good damage there on that 19 ride, as down across the line our race leader Austin Smith will click off another lap, and we see 3 more to go here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. Late in this race, we will see that 23, the Red Bull Racing Ride, try to pick up the checkered flag. He's got 6.5 seconds now between himself and 2nd place out there on the speedway. He does not want to see that caution flag fly, is down across the line. Only 2 more laps of racing action left here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you guys are enjoying the racing action, if you guys are enjoying the show here this evening, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family today, as Austin Smith 6.5 seconds in front of Andrew Taft heads down the back straightaway. Nice and easy, rolls down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4 on the throttle here, making sure he keeps that car pointed in the right direction. No caution flags. We will see that white flag fly, and the next flag will end this race here this evening from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The final lap here in the Racers Elite full-length race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 267 laps, and it comes down to this one right here, the final one, the one that counts the most. As for the final time here this evening, down into corner number 3 and rounding corner number 4, it's Austin Smith who will pick up the win and the money here this evening, as he will get it done here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Austin Smith with the commanding win here this evening. He has been out in front, led over 200 laps of this race, and he will find his way into the Las Vegas Motor Speedway victory lane, as he didn't have to gamble too much. He didn't have to roll the dice here in Vegas, here at Sin City, but he's going to be able to cash in, hits that payday, and put some cash in his pocket here with the Racers Elite crew, as he will get ready to party down here on the front straightaway. There's Andrew Deff coming up, giving him some congratulations there as Andrew comes home in position number 2. Dale Pro Cup Vlaket coming home in position number 3 here this evening. Corey Crowell caught back up to him but could not make the pass for that 3rd position. As domination for Austin Smith here this evening, as he was out front for pretty much the entire thing. He has been the car to beat here all evening long, and now celebrating on the front straightaway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Austin Smith picking up the win in dominating fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, and jump into the comment section right now to cheer on this 23 as Austin Smith gets it done and picks up the dub here this afternoon. What a run and what a drive by that 23 ride, able to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Absolutely dominating this race and showing these drivers how to get it done here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But don't only give it up here for Austin Smith, give it up for all of these drivers. Each and every one of these cats doing a fantastic job throughout the evening. Even when some of them were running into issues, they either got down and off the racetrack or out of the way without bringing out a caution flag as we run green to checkered. 267 laps of racing action caution-free here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If somebody had told me that they were going to bet that this would be a caution-free race at the beginning of this afternoon, I would have put money on it. I would not have said that this race was going to go clean and green for 267 laps, but here this afternoon, they proved me wrong, and they are able to do it here in this one. As Caleb McKinney coming in with those checkered flags, we'll get ready to jump up into the broadcast booth here with our top 3 finishers for their post-race interviews. And our race winner, sitting down pit side, waiting patiently here, we'll get him up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Austin, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Copy, Aaron. How's it going?
Not too bad. Austin, man, take us back through this one. 267 laps of racing action, and for a lot of it, you were out in front, just dominating this race. At one point in time, almost a 19-second lead between yourself and that second-place driver out there on the speedway. And, throughout that final bit of a run, you gave a little bit of that time up, but I think it was more or less just trying to keep it cool, calm, and collective. Keep those tires underneath of you, not make any mistakes, and making sure that you had something left in the tank for late in this race. If one of those drivers found something or were able to catch up to you, that you'd have that extra tire left there to pull away from them. As we saw you there throughout that final run, clutching the car a little bit, just rolling through the corners, not, making your job too difficult out there on the speedway. And luckily enough, never had another driver get to your back bumper trying to pass you for this race lead here this afternoon. Once you got back out in front, around lap number 45, lap number 50, once he took it back away from that 33 ride, and you never looked back since that point.
Yeah, the car felt good. It was a great race. I am tired, that's for sure. But it was good. Car, was turning really good in 1 and 2 on that first seam, and then 3 and 4 you kind of had to let it roll the center a little bit more before you could get a better drive off. But felt good. Coming to that last pit stop, I was actually 4 laps short on fuel. I wasn't going to make it, so I really had to start clutching the car in, try to save as much as I could. By the end there, I had saved enough where I was 2 laps to the good, so I didn't really want to give that much time back up, but had to make sure I was going to make it to the end there in case it went green, which it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that just a quick pit stop down there, not allowing that team to fully full that car? As we saw through a lot of those runs, these drivers were, getting, 67, 69 laps. They were out of a tank of fuel. You came down pit side on lap 201. I figured you were good, that you wouldn't have had to worry about fuel saving here, getting that final pit stop in there within that fuel window. So was it just trying to get that extra little bit down pit road that may have hurt you there in trying to save that fuel late in this race?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I was saving enough fuel. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if I was saving enough fuel going down, into the corners throughout the whole run, but whatever reason I was short, and I probably could have made it without saving as much. Because I ended up 2 laps to the good. I probably could have pushed a little harder, but I just wanted to be certain. So I don't know if it was the way I was driving it or what, but yeah, I know even my teammate Corey, he was saving a lot more fuel than I was. So. we just couldn't figure it out. And I was terrified to start pushing that clutch in the corners because as soon as you let that clutch back out, it seems to get really, really loose on the back tires. But figured it out and came away with the win, so can't be mad.
Absolutely can't be mad. Picking up the checkered flag, a dominating race here for you at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and obviously a full-length race, 267 laps. Now, I know NASCAR now has those stage breaks, but do you think that those NASCAR guys could do that? Do you think they could go out there and roll a full race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and not have one caution flag out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, I don't see that happening today in the real life race, but yeah, it's pretty grueling. My hands are tired, my arms are a little tired, but feel good. Happy to get the win.
Absolutely, definitely a full body workout there, making sure that you get that car up and into victory lane, and I do believe cashing in here as well, as I do believe there was a bit of money on the line here this afternoon. I don't know what the prize payouts were or what the prizes ended up being or anything, but if you know, let me know here, man, as you're able to pick up, I do believe, a payday here this afternoon as well on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, playing iRacing.
Yeah, I think it ended up being about $150 to the top three. So just a small buy-in for a big payout. So appreciate it. Got to thank Andrew for putting it on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a good little pay-in and a good payday here this evening to start your Sunday off on the right foot here for you, and potentially, maybe buying you dinner, maybe buying you some muscle milk or whatever else to build back some of that, get some of that protein into you after this race and that workout here this morning. As Austin, you park that 23 right up and into the Las Vegas Motor Speedway victory lane, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this afternoon?
Yeah, I mostly just need to thank my teammates in Midwest Motorsports, Josh, Brandon, and Corey. We put in a couple sessions this week just practicing, figuring out how to save tire and stuff like that. So got to thank them. They help a lot, and they're always, giving me information on the track. Couldn't do it without them. And then I just got a shout out to Andrew for putting everything on here. It's a lot of fun, and you for the fantastic broadcast you do.
Absolutely, brother. No better place to be than up here in the broadcast booth and watching you guys battle out there on the speedway. As Austin, you're able to get this one. You're able to put yourself up into victory lane. 267 lap race. Now I know, you're part of the Outcast Racing League. I know there's been some drama there over last week. I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see any of it. But I'll be back in action there with the Outcast crew this afternoon. Do we expect to see, yourself and Corey and some of your teammates out there on the racetrack here later this afternoon and a couple hours from now for our Outcast Racing League broadcast as well?
Yeah, I think I got to sit that one out today, my friend. I'd love to go back and race, but just can't get on the track today.
Absolutely. I don't blame you, brother. It was a workout here this afternoon. Already a lot of laps under your belt, and it's going to be good enough, man. Go take a nap. Go take, get some dinner into you and everything else, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. And we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack in the next one, Austin, and hopefully right back up here in Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Austin Smith. Is Smith able to pick up the dub here on this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, here with the Racers Elite crew, as he's able to pick up the dub and earn himself the payday, the extra money going into his back pocket after winning this 267 lap race from Las Vegas Motor Speedway here with the Racers Elite Racing League. As we get ready to pull in our second place driver, one of the owners here of the series, the 98 ride of Andrew Taft. As Taft coming home in position number 2, the 98 ride having a solid run, a solid drive here himself, as we'll get ready to pull him up into the broadcast booth. Hey Andrew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Andrew, man, what a run, what a drive here from yourself this afternoon, man. Take us back through this one as a bit of a, not really an up and down day for you, but slowly but surely we see you race your way up towards the front of the field. A lot of hard battling there between yourself and that 9 ride out there on the speedway, and late in this race trying to close that gap, trying to hunt down that 23 of Austin Smith as he was trying to save a little bit of fuel out there on the speedway. You were a man on a mission, unfortunately just could not close that gap enough to put the pressure to his back bumper.
Yeah, Austin ran a great race. I kind of figured out the track a little better toward the end. This is probably the toughest race I've ever done, to be honest. That's my first impression, but you know, it looked like he had to save a little bit that last run. I thought maybe I found something, but I think he was probably mostly just saving that last run. I don't think I actually found anything, but I was pretty consistent, pretty good in the long runs. Just didn't try to stay out of trouble. Didn't really have any wall incidents or spin anywhere. I did slide through my box one time. That cost me a little bit. Might have put me a little bit closer to him, but yeah. And the track kind of changed throughout the race. Also, you know, toward the beginning it was super slick, and then it seemed to rubber up or either cool down or something, and it did gain some grip, I thought, and I was able to run a little bit higher, maybe a little bit more middle. But yeah, I probably needed a caution or a few more runs to be able to run him back down. He was on a different level today. Congrats to Austin.
Yeah, absolutely, on a different level, and I feel like there was a lot of drivers there throughout this race that were just hoping for that caution flag, whether or not it was to maybe get a wave around or a free pass with the lucky dog, or just trying to get back to the battle and back to the back bumper of that 23 rider, just to get a break out there, just to chillax and relax there for a couple moments out there on the racetrack. As 267 laps of green flag racing, no real breaks out there except for that 10-15 seconds that you're down in your pit box and getting the car jacked up and getting ready to go back to battle. You guys didn't really get much of a break, and it's a heck of a workout out there, man, to continue to keep on running and turning, keep yourself out of trouble and battling sometimes only inches off of your competitors. It is a very stressful afternoon, not only physically but mentally out there on the racetrack, man. How did you have to kind of come into this race, and how did you have to deal with that throughout the evening, not only physically but mentally, staying focused and staying solid out there on the speed?
Well, I knew it was going to be tough going in because we raced here Thursday, a half-length race, and I got my butt kicked. I tried to chop the runs even, just did 35 lap runs. It was a 105 lap race, so I thought I would have the best tires, over the course of the race. And those guys were able to just stay out a couple laps longer than me and run away. So going into this, I knew I didn't want a short pit because that didn't pay it off. That didn't pay off at all on Thursday, and I knew I wanted to go just run the tank out of fuel, go long every single time. Didn't realize it was going to put us in a 3-stop situation. That was pretty cool, for our case anyway. I guess you could try and 4-stop also and have fresher tires a bit longer, and maybe it would work out pretty close. But yeah, just that was the goal. Just kind of stay out of trouble, don't spin it, because it's very easy to do, and run out the fuel tanks, save my tires, try to be good in the long runs.
Absolutely. Well, you are very good at that here this afternoon as you bring that 98 ride home in position number 2 here this evening. Obviously keeping 23 other drivers back there at bay behind you. Unfortunately, one driver there in front of you as you settle in for a solid second place run here this afternoon. Andrew, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
Yeah, thanks for putting on the show. Can't wait to watch it back. Want to thank our servicemen and women, everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race, my friends, my team, my family. And if you're interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. You can find Discord invites, schedules, standings, the whole 9 yards there. We got everything.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's looking to get in on the fun, become part of the show here and part of the series, get a hold of Andrew and get a hold of the Racers Elite crew and join in on the fun, man, as this is some great racing action. Obviously here today, put on full display. 25 drivers starting this race. Only about 5 drivers didn't complete it, but that's to be expected with being as long as this race was. They run into an issue, they back out, or running into PC problems and everything else there, like we saw with Brandon Puffenbarger. Obviously potentially losing some drivers from that, as well as not very often do we see a full-length NASCAR race here on iRacing, and here tonight you guys do it to the best of your abilities and go caution-free, clean and green for all 267 laps, the 400 miles here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's really a testament to the quality of racers we have here and just the amount of respect that everybody pays to each other. And yeah, I'm super proud of everybody's performance today, and for that being the toughest race I think we've ever done, super impressive to have that go green, especially no stages or anything. Yeah, I'm just super impressed and thankful for such a great group.
Absolutely great group of drivers, great racing here all morning, all afternoon here with the Racers Elite. And Andrew, we can't wait to see you guys back out there on the racetrack in the next one. And hopefully, it won't be very long, and we'll see you guys back in action and battling again out there on the Speedway.
Yep, next month we got Talladega, so that should be fun.
Beauty. Well, if I am off and I am free, brother, hopefully I'll be the man up in the booth putting on the show for you.
Sounds great.
Beauty. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Andrew Taft as Andrew coming home in position number 2 here this evening. A great run and a great drive there for the 98 ride of Andrew Taft. As now we'll get ready to pull in our third place driver. I've been probably saying his name wrong all afternoon, so we'll pull Dale up, our third place driver in position number 3, that 9 ride here this afternoon. We'll pull Dale up and we'll see how close or how far off we were on saying and pronouncing his last name. We'll get him to give us a shout out there on how to say it, and we'll get into his post-race interview. Hey, Dale, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Dale, man, a solid run, a solid drive here for you all afternoon. Now, I'm sure I've probably been getting your last name wrong every single time I say it. So first off, how do you say your last name correctly?
You can say Prokop Valaquet or Valaquet. Either works, or sometimes they just say DPV.
Okay,
Keep it
okay.
short.
That probably would have been a lot easier, just break it down into the increments there. But I think for the most part, we got it right for a lot of those times. Struggled a little bit at the start here and there, but for the most part, we got your name right there, and we're happy about that one. But Dale, man, a solid run, a solid drive here for you this afternoon. We did see you lead some laps early on in this race, and obviously a lot of tight battling out there throughout this race between yourself and Andrew Taft, the 20 of Corey Crowell there. We saw you battling with Cole Larson and so many of these other drivers throughout this race, and you're able to hang on here late in this one to pull yourself up into the podium here after 267 laps, 67 laps of racing action here this evening.
Yeah, it was I definitely didn't expect it to go green. Everyone said afterwards that they were tired. That was pretty crazy. I don't know if you caught the 3 wide between Andrew, me, and Cole. I got the bad end of that because Andrew got loose up into me, or up in the Cole, and then I got in the wall, and then I had damage. But I was able to recover. Luckily, we got that one quick repair. It actually wasn't driving too bad after that, but it was hot and slick. Everyone was getting loose off 4. Corey Caldwell was he had me dead. I don't know if you caught our battle at the end there. He had me pass, and he had fresher tires, but he got loose off of 4 because it's just treacherous over there, and I was able to hold it together.
Yeah, absolutely. We were watching that battle. We saw Corey get around you. You battle back down to his inside, keeping the pressure there on him for a few laps. And then out of corner number 4, it looked like he was just trying to get back onto the throttle, make sure he was able to keep that 3rd spot away from you. Stepped on it there, rear end kicked out for him, down through the grass like we saw quite a few drivers here throughout the evening do. He ends up coming home in that 4th position. He was trying to track you back down there late in this race. He needed probably maybe another 10 laps to catch back up to you and make that pass, but you were able to hang on, keep that car put in the right direction, out of trouble for most of this race, and pull yourself up here into position number 3. Dale, who'd you like to thank for such a great run, a solid drive here all afternoon?
I just like to thank Andrew for putting these on, and everyone for racing super clean. Everything was tough but fair. I even got into Corey a little bit at the end, but that 3rd spot is the cutoff for the pay window, so we had to fight.
Absolutely had to fight, had to put yourself into the money here this afternoon. Unfortunately for Corey Crowell, he falls out of the money here and back into that 4th position, but then you're able to park it up on the podium in the money here this evening after a grueling 267 laps of racing action here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Congratulations on the great run and the great finish here, and hopefully we'll see you back out there on the racetrack, maybe right back up here in the broadcast booth, a couple spots better and up in victory lane yourself.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely, Dale. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and go relax a little bit and kind of regain some of that muscle and everything else after this, 2.5-hour workout that you guys just got.
For sure, thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this evening. Dale Pro Cup Vlaket coming home in position number 3 here in that 9 right. A solid run and a solid drive there for that number 9 machine, as a great run and a great drive by each and every one of these drivers. 267 laps of non-stop green flag racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It was a bit of a roll of the dice. It was a gamble here all evening long for drivers on whether it was the strategy calls or how hard they were going to push their race cars out there on the speedway. And at the end of the day, only one driver was able to cash in all his chips and pick up the win here in Las Vegas, and that was Austin Smith, as he gets the job done here this afternoon. As Chicken Coop Racing says, great race, everyone. Absolutely amazing race, absolutely amazing run by each and every one of these drivers. We can't thank them for jumping out there onto the speedway and putting on one heck of a show for us here this evening, man. That was a lot of fun, a lot of great racing, and we can't wait to see the Racers Elite crew back in action and back out there on the speedway here in the future on Peacemaker Gaming. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this race. We got a couple hours, and then we will be back live with the Outcast Racing League, as we'll be back in action with our second broadcast here this afternoon. We'll see those NASCAR race cars back in action here at just before 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and then we'll be live again after that later on this afternoon with the Big Block Modified. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys want to see more great racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button over on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Become part of the Peacemaker family today, and make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. But we'll catch you guys back here in just a little bit for race number 2 of 3 here this afternoon in a couple hours, and we'll be right back up here putting on another great show for all the fans in the stands here this evening. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Absolutely amazing seeing everyone come in, show the love here throughout the day, throughout the afternoon, cheering on all these drivers and watching these cats duke it out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! What a run, what a race, what a drive by each and every one of these competitors.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Laptop jungle, feast on chaos, flavor grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory day sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running up the trees, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Filling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Laptop jungle, feast on chaos, flavor grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag night visions, adrenaline addiction, metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams chasing speed and money, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins, run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Strapping, tight, ready, V8 symphony humming. Tires screeching, engine screaming, speed demons coming. Gasoline guzzling, straight moving, track bruising. In the premium stock car, never losing. Pit crew wizards, crackers, wizards, slick precision. Seconds matter, clock ticking, tight decisions. Drafting close, sling shot, ghost, high speed, LA. Sipping victory, toasting champ, champagne spray. Fast lane, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Cloud roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathing, destiny's near. Hearts pound seconds before eruption. Adrenaline and steel, the perfect conjunction. Lap after lap, sweat drips, visor fogging. Fame and glory wait for no one's dogging. Television apex, hunting blind to the herd. Opponent's tailgating, pace firing absurd. Finally tuned monster, horsepower XL. Steering wheels grip like the gates to hell. Fast lane, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Cloud roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathing, destiny's near. Strapping, tight, ready, V8 symphony humming. Tires screeching, engine screaming, speed demons coming. Gasoline guzzling, straight moving, track bruising. In the premium stock car, never losing. Pit crew wizards, crackers, wizards, slick precision. Seconds matter, clock ticking, tight decisions. Drafting close, sling shot, ghost, high speed, LA. Sipping victory, toasting champ, champagne spray. Fast lane, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Cloud roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathing, destiny's near. Hearts pound seconds before eruption. Adrenaline and steel, the perfect conjunction. Lap after lap, sweat drips, visor fogging. Fame and glory wait for no one's dogging. Television apex, hunting blind to the herd. Opponent's tailgating, pace firing absurd. Finally tuned monster, horsepower XL. Steering wheels grip like the gates to hell. Fast lane, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Cloud roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathing, destiny's near.